So welcome everyone. I'm just going to do what I've been doing the past few weeks. Actually, listen. Anyway, as I was saying, doing what I've been doing the past few weeks, where I'm just going to be listening to a quick one, where it's sped up, because I'm actually going to try to get to sleep at a good time tonight. So let's here, 1 moment. Right, there we go. Let's see. So here I found it, and then what is it we're looking for? Oh shoot! Totally forgot about that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, where is it? Creative Judaism. Okay. Behaalotecha. I don't know. I prefer saying Behaalotecha, but that's just me. So, let's see. Okay. Wait, am I even? No, I'm not. Present share screen. Here.
Where I find something weird in the weekly Torah portion and follow it all the way down until it gets even weirder. This week's episode eventually gets us to hidden treasure and self-playing harps. But, as always, we have to get there. In this week's Torah portion, Parshah BeHa'Alotecha, one of the things that we learn about is trumpets. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, or Moses, 𤐁𐄗𝐿echa shtei chatzotzros, make for yourself 2 trumpets. And then it goes on and tells us the different ways that those trumpets should be used to gather the people and at special times. And it also tells us the specific signals used for different types of messages. There's a lot of interesting stuff there, and at one point I was considering following those signals and going down that rabbit hole. But what ended up getting my attention even more was the trumpets themselves. On that verse where the trumpets are introduced, when God tells Moses, make for yourself trumpets, there's actually a lot of commentary in Midrashim. In fact, Rashi has 3 different things to say just about those 2 words, 𝐻𝐶lecha, make for yourself. First of all, he says that the trumpets are for yourself, for Moshe, because they would blow the trumpets for him, like a king. Then Rashi gives us another interpretation of make for yourself, and says that it means that Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to use his own money, or his own silver, to make those trumpets, and not use common funds. So they weren't communal trumpets, they were Moshe Rabbeinu's personal trumpets. And then Rashi gives us one more interpretation, and says, make for yourself means that only Moshe Rabbeinu could use them, and not anybody else. So this idea that these trumpets were Moshe's personal trumpets in various different ways caught my attention. And when I dug a little bit deeper, I found that a lot of commentaries mention this in various different ways. But the way 𤤁𤄏�ㄏ𝐿 presented it is what got me hooked. He says for yourself means for your needs, so that he wouldn't need to send people out to find trumpets when he needed them. And for some reason, that's the one that made it feel the most personal for me. Like these are Moshe's personal trumpets. Like my special jar of peanut butter that I keep on the top shelf of the cupboard that is not for school lunches. I guess the reason why the idea of Moshe's personal trumpets was particularly interesting to me is because Moshe Rabbeinu is such a huge looming figure in Torah and in Judaism. We know a lot about him, his unique leadership qualities and the miracles that he performed for the Jews. And we also know about some of his challenges, for example, his speech impediment. So we do know a lot about him, but I feel like we don't usually hear about his stuff, his personal effects, the things that he owned and perhaps valued.
What if we found Moses' shoes, Ezzy?
We know about the staff of Moses,
What if we found Moses' shoes, Ezzy?
We know about the staff of Moses, which I explored in a previous rabbit hole, but I can't think of any other examples of things that belonged to and were perhaps important to Moshe. But then we have these trumpets that were only for him to use, and he always had them available just for him. So that's where this week's rabbit hole starts, with Moses' special personal trumpets. If you're ready to see where that leads, let's dive in. Okay, so this whole idea of Moshe's personal trumpets that's mentioned in the commentaries originates in Midrash. It says that make for yourself means that nobody else can use them. And then it gives us another detail that Rashi didn't include, that even Yeshua, or Joshua, Moses' successor as leader of the Jewish people, even he wasn't allowed to use the trumpets. And the proof that the Midrash gives for that is that when Yeshua sieged Jericho, the verse says that they blew shofar horns, and the walls of Jericho fell and they conquered the city. So according to the Midrash, this illustrates that Yeshua used shofars for military purposes and not the trumpets.
Come down here! Larry, get down here!
So according to this, even Moshe's direct successor didn't get to use the trumpets. So what happened to those trumpets? The Midrash tells us that they were hidden away before Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. And the proof that the Midrash brings for that is that towards the end of Chumash, when Moshe gathers the Jewish people before his death, he says, gather to me all the elders of the tribes. And the Midrash asks, where were the trumpets? In other words, why did Moshe tell people to gather everybody and not just blow the trumpets? And the answer is because they were already hidden away. Then the Midrash adds that the reason why that had to happen on the day Moshe Rabbeinu passed away and not afterwards was because of a verse in Koheles, or Ecclesiastes, that says that there is no rulership on the day of death. Okay, so there are a few things about this Midrash that I want to talk about. First of all, I just found the imagery of that day to be really powerful. That verse from Koheles that says that there's no rulership on the day of death is normally interpreted to mean that even the most powerful people have no power over death. But here, as applied to the missing trumpets on the day Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, it seems to be playing out more literally, that all the bells and whistles and trappings of leadership were stripped away. And it creates this feeling of loss and silence that I find really powerful. But probably the most exciting thing here is that the trumpets were hidden. I dug around to try and see if I could find any sources that mention them being found ever, but I couldn't find anything, which begs the question, are the trumpets of Moses still out there? Are they buried in the desert somewhere? And
Oh, shoot. How did that happen? Dang, I don't know how far back it lost it. Have you been watching it all?
And see if I could
Hey,
find
Graham.
Nope, just popped in.
All right, well, I guess it doesn't hurt to go back.
Hi, I'm David Taub, and welcome to the Parsha Rabbit Hole, where I find something weird in the weekly Torah portion and follow it all the way down until it gets even weirder. This week's episode eventually gets us to hidden treasure and self-playing harps. But, as always, we have to get there. In this week's Torah portion, Parshah BeHa'Alotecha, one of the things that we learn about is trumpets. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, or Moses, 𤤁𤄏�ㄋ𤐕𐊊, 𝐤�𐄄𝐄𝐿, make for yourself 2 trumpets. And then it goes on and tells us the different ways that those trumpets should be used to gather the people and at special times. And it also tells us the specific signals used for different types of messages. There's a lot of interesting stuff there, and at one point I was considering following those signals and going down that rabbit hole. But what ended up getting my attention even more was the trumpets themselves. On that verse where the trumpets are introduced, when God tells Moses, make for yourself trumpets, there's actually a lot of commentary in Midrashim. In fact, Rashi has 3 different things to say just about those 2 words, 𝐤�𝐿𝐿, make for yourself. First of all, he says that the trumpets are for yourself, for Moshe, because they would blow the trumpets for him, like a king. Then Rashi gives us another interpretation of make for yourself, and says that it means that Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to use his own money, or his own silver, to make those trumpets, and not use common funds. So they weren't communal trumpets, they were Moshe Rabbeinu's personal trumpets. And then Rashi gives us one more interpretation, and says, make for yourself means that only Moshe Rabbeinu could use them, and not anybody else. So this idea that these trumpets were Moshe's personal trumpets in various different ways caught my attention. And when I dug a little bit deeper, I found that a lot of commentaries mention this in various different ways. But the way 𤤁𤄏𝐿 presented it is what got me hooked. He says for yourself means for your needs, so that he wouldn't need to send people out to find trumpets when he needed them. And for some reason, that's the one that made it feel the most personal for me. Like these are Moshe's personal trumpets. Like my special jar of peanut butter that I keep on the top shelf of the cupboard that is not for school lunches. I guess the reason why the idea of Moshe's personal trumpets was particularly interesting to me is because Moshe Rabbeinu is such a huge looming figure in Torah and in Judaism. We know a lot about him, his unique leadership qualities and the miracles that he performed for the Jews. And we also know about some of his challenges, for example, his speech impediment. So we do know a lot about him, but I feel like we don't usually hear about his stuff, his personal effects, the things that he owned and perhaps valued.
What if we found Moses' shoes, Ezzy?
We know about the staff of Moses, which I explored in a previous rabbit hole, but I can't think of any other examples of things that belonged to and were perhaps important to Moshe. But then we have these trumpets that were only for him to use, and he always had them available just for him. So that's where this week's rabbit hole starts, with Moses' special personal trumpets. If you're ready to see where that leads, let's dive in. Okay, so this whole idea of Moshe's personal trumpets that's mentioned in the commentaries originates in Midrash. It says that make for yourself means that nobody else can use them. And then it gives us another detail that Rashi didn't include, that even Yeshua, or Joshua, Moses' successor as leader of the Jewish people, even he wasn't allowed to use the trumpets. And the proof that the Midrash gives for that is that when Yeshua sieged Jericho, the verse says that they blew shofars, shofar horns, and the walls of Jericho fell and they conquered the city. So according to the Midrash, this illustrates that Yeshua used shofars for military purposes and not the trumpets.
Come down here! Larry, get down here!
So according to this, even Moshe's direct successor didn't get to use the trumpets. So what happened to those trumpets? The Midrash tells us that they were hidden away before Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. And the proof that the Midrash brings for that is that towards the end of Chumash, when Moshe gathers the Jewish people before his death, he says, "Gather to me all the elders of the tribes." And the Midrash asks, where were the trumpets? In other words, why did Moshe tell people to gather everybody and not just blow the trumpets? And the answer is because they were already hidden away. Then the Midrash adds that the reason why that had to happen on the day Moshe Rabbeinu passed away and not afterwards was because of a verse in Koheles, or Ecclesiastes, that says that there is no rulership on the day of death. Okay, so there are a few things about this Midrash that I want to talk about. First of all, I just found the imagery of that day to be really powerful. That verse from Koheles that says that there's no rulership on the day of death is normally interpreted to mean that even the most powerful people have no power over death. But here, as applied to the missing trumpets on the day Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, it seems to be playing out more literally, that all the bells and whistles and trappings of leadership...
That whole idea, there's no, there's no rulership on the day of death. It's like a in machut b'yom hamavet, or b'yom mavet. It kind of seems like think of it this way. So you know that whole idea, like the day of the Lord, right? You've heard that phrase, the day of the Lord, or the day of Yahweh.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, well, is the day of death, could it have that same connotation? Because you do have Mut, who is the god of death. And like it could be referring to the victory of death over Baal, or in this case, well, not within this theology over Yahweh, because, I mean, maybe at a certain point, but not at this point.
I see what you're talking about. I would have to go a different route with it, because to me, the day of Yahweh, that's almost the final judgment kind of thing. And it's more of an end point. And the day of death is more of a liminal space, a transition, like from one ruler to another.
Well, true, but I guess what I'm saying is the day of Yahweh, it doesn't explicitly mean that. It only implicitly means that stuff because of the apocalypticism.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying I see what you're saying. I'm siding with it a little more as the day of Yahweh being an endpoint as opposed to a liminal space.
I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. It's just kind of like I don't know, because like who's not to like because so in that case it's referring to a specific point in time at the end of time, but like I don't know, I really think that there's not really I don't see a reason why like it's kind of like, you know, why it's an either or type of thing, if that makes any sense.
Well, you're going to get some sense of it in the liminal space, because the day of Yahweh is like the liminal space, and then it hits an abrupt end. It's, you know, again, it's sort of like the idea of a, the whole like line segment versus, the day of a king dying is sort of in the middle of that one. It's a transition point in the middle, as opposed to an end point. That's just my way of looking at it.
But I guess another thing is that anytime someone dies, in a sense, is a Yom Mavet, or it is a day of death, both in that literal sense that it's a day of their death, but also it's a day that like death has this power. It's not necessarily like, I think that, and that's the thing, the idea of like the idea of ownership of that day really just has to do with power and being able to like to use that power, basically.
Maybe another way to look at it that might help is, if the day somebody dies, it is their final day. It is their day of Yahweh, but for everybody else, it's just a liminal transitional day.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the day of Yahweh. I'm saying that has a very explicit context within how it's understood, within how it's written. I mean, people could apply that to their own lives, but no, what I'm saying is that a day of death is any day that somebody dies. So in essence, and that's kind of the interesting thing, in essence, every day is a day of death.
Well, every instant is a day of death. The next instance exists because the previous instant died.
Well, no, but I mean like people too. Like there's not a day that a human doesn't die.
Well, yeah, but that's a modern development with more people. I mean, back when you only had a handful of people.
Okay, but that's dude, that's a loophole. And honestly, like I applaud you for thinking of that. But I think that's not what we're like. You could also argue, well, okay, well, when did the first? I mean, Yeah, at least if you hold to the biblical narrative, then you would have to say that it's something like the first time that you could have a day of death would be when Cain kills Abel, but then like it oh, but I see what you mean. But basically, like once you get a few generations in, you like, and that's kind of the weird thing. Just a few generations in, I mean, maybe like not even 10 generations, and you have enough people alive that you could have someone dying every day. In fact, especially once you get bloodshed, then that's it's going to be pretty common.
Yeah, I had to laugh there. It's like, when was exploiting a loophole somehow excluded from rabbinical logic?
Oh, I wasn't saying that it was. But who said I'm holding a rabbinical logic?
Oh, I know. It's just it was funny. It's like, to me, Jewish logic is like, if there's a loophole, exploit it. You know, that's where another midrash comes from.
Yep. So let's see, where is it? Here, VTab.
Stripped away. And it creates this feeling of loss and silence that I find really powerful. But probably the most exciting thing here is that the trumpets were hidden. I dug around to try and see if I could find any sources that mention them being found ever, but I couldn't find anything, which begs the question, are the trumpets of Moses still out there? Are they buried in the desert somewhere? And most importantly, why was there never an Indiana Jones and the trumpets of Moses?
Well, things can't always be the way you want them to be. But sometimes they are.
But there's one more thing that I think is interesting about all of this, which is that there clearly were trumpets used by the Jewish people after the time of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah tells us pretty clearly in this week's Parsha that we're supposed to use trumpets at various times, and there are countless references to trumpets being used in the Beis HaMikdash, the temple. I saw different sources deal with this in different ways, but the simplest explanation is just that there were different trumpets used for that, which makes this idea that Yeshua didn't use the trumpets at all even more interesting. He could have used his own trumpets, which suggests that there was something uniquely trumpety about Moshe's leadership, and Yeshua's leadership was different. In fact, the Midrash, a little further on in its discussion of the trumpets...
Oh, shoot. Maybe drums? Let's see.
Well, I was going to sit there and say, I can understand it. Who gets to blow your trumpet
at all,
kind of
even
person?
more interesting. Deal with this in different ways, but the simplest explanation is just that there were different trumpets used for that, which makes this idea that Yeshua didn't use the trumpets at all even more interesting. He could have used his own trumpets, which suggests that there was something uniquely trumpety about Moshe's leadership, and Yeshua's leadership was different. In fact, the Midrash, a little further on in its discussion of the trumpets, brings up the trumpets that were used later and says that the trumpets could only be used by Moshe because he was a king, and the only other person who could use them was David HaMelech, or King David. And some commentaries explain that this means all of the kings who were descended from David HaMelech.
Wait, what? But he wasn't a king.
But then the Midrash continues and tells us that even though trumpets were used by kings later on, starting with the time of
David got anointed king.
Rav points out that
No,
David
not David, I'm
HaMelech
talking about
himself
Moses.
very famously...
This was saying Moses is a king, which
Well-
I can't hear that and not immediately think of the whole tradition or the theory that Freud had.
Oh, no, I understand that one. No, I thought you were talking about David not being king. It's like, no, David was definitely king.
Yeah, it's like, hold on, is this a Mandela effect?
Well, Moses is sort of his own category. He wasn't really a king. He wasn't really a priest. He was sort of like, sort of like all of them, but rolled into one and more.
He's like
He's like Uber Jew.
interesting. I was going to go for a human BLT.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I was sort of thinking about, the Adam Sandler with, don't mess with the Zohar.
Zohan.
Zohan, yeah.
It'd be so much funnier if it was "Don't mess with the Zohar."
Yeah, you could. I'm sure you know where that slip happened.
No, I know because I make the same slip a bunch.
Okay, I don't feel as bad then.
No, it's pretty funny. Let's see where to go.
Used a harp. The word is kinor, which actually has a lot of translations, and which I actually discussed in the very first Parsha rabbit hole. I think the most accurate translation would be lyre, but I'm just going to say harp.
What's up, Doc?
Anyways, it's a pretty famous thing that David HaMelech played the harp. But the Midrash actually illustrates this idea that David played a harp by telling us about a harp that he didn't play. It says that David HaMelech had a harp that hung over his bed, and at midnight every night the north wind would blow and cause the harp to play on its own. I guess kind of like wind chimes. Anyways, that would wake him up, and then he and his students would learn Torah until dawn. So there's a lot of confusing twists here. Nobody was allowed to use the trumpets except for Moshe Rabbeinu, but also except for David HaMelech because of a verse about a different king, but also David didn't play the trumpet, he played the harp, as we see from a story about how the wind played the harp and not David HaMelech. So besides for being kind of confused, the main thing I came away with from this Midrash was wondering why the Midrash makes this musical distinction between Moshe and David. Kind of like the distinction already made between Moshe and Yeshua, but now we have another instrument in the mix. So I looked at the commentaries on that Midrash, and I didn't find an answer. I did, however, find an interesting explanation of the self-playing harp. The commentary Yedei Moshe connects this to a piece from Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer that says that the strings of David HaMelech's harp were made from the sinews of the ram that Avram Avinu, or Abraham, sacrificed instead of his son Yitzchak, or Isaac. Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer explains that each part of that animal ended up being used for various different important things throughout Jewish history, including the sinews, which ended up being used as the strings of David HaMelech's harp. So, based on this commentary says that since the ram was a sacrifice, and a sacrifice can't intentionally be used for any other purpose, then it could only be used in a way where it would play on its own without a human being directly causing it to play. So this doesn't really connect to all the trumpet stuff,
So it's
but
just a
I just thought it was
tradition
cool
that
to take
emerges
this
out
already
of a
weird thing
halachic
about a
issue.
self-playing harp
Interesting.
and connect it all the way back to this very weird moment at the beginning of Jewish history. But I was still wondering about the connections between Moshe, Yeshua, and David and their respective musical instruments. So I expanded the search radius a little and dug around for anything that mentioned Moshe's trumpets and David's harp in the same place. And I found something in Rabbeinu Bachya's commentary on our Parsha,
Yeah, we love
which I guess I missed the
Rabbeinu
first time
Bachya.
around when I was looking at all the commentaries on those trumpets. He has a Kabbalistic explanation of how Moshe Rabbeinu used the two trumpets to channel the two opposing emotional attributes of Rachamim and Din, compassion and judgment, or something like that. Honestly, I didn't completely understand it. But then he says that Yeshua couldn't reach that level, and he used the shofar to channel only the quality of judgment, which was his primary quality. And he continues that David used the harp, which he connects to the attribute of Malchus, which literally means kingship, but in Jewish mysticism, there's a lot more to it. And again, honestly, I didn't completely understand all the Kabbalah stuff. But that's okay, because it's really the next part that I was excited about. He wraps all of this up by saying that each and every person has their own instrument that fits their specific level of understanding, prophecy, and emotional qualities. So I got my confirmation that there is indeed something uniquely trumpety about Moshe Rabbeinu, and something uniquely shofari about Yeshua, and something uniquely harpy about David HaMelech. I don't understand what it is, but it's confirmed. But the thing that was really cool to me is this idea that everybody has their own instrument. It could be that he specifically meant the heroes and leaders in Jewish history, because he did mention prophecy, but he doesn't say that specifically. He just says kol echad ve'echad, each individual. So I'd like to think that this applies to everyone. And there are probably ways to expand this beyond musical instruments and say that this applies to any type of tool that enables a person to express Torah, but I'm cool with it just being musical instruments. I like the idea that every single person, even those of us like myself who don't consider ourselves musicians, we still each have a musical instrument that we have a special connection to. Mine is the tuba.
Why is that still fitting?
Like I said, I'm not a musician, but the tuba is still mine. Not literally. That tuba belonged to the school district, and I had to give it back. And tubas cost like thousands of dollars, so I don't have a tuba anymore. But I still do have a tuba in my heart. All right, that's it. That's the rabbit hole. As always, if you have any questions or cool things you know about this topic, put it in the comments. Thank you for following me down the rabbit hole. To find your way out, follow the sound of the trumpets. But they might just lead you down even deeper.
Muy interesante. Okay, let's see. So, let's figure this out. Is it here? Oh, right. Almost forgot. Oh, one second. All right, there we go. View tab. Behaalotecha. Behaalotecha. Let's see. What's this? This might be interesting.
Who cries over onions? I mean, I understand getting teary, but sobbing over the fact that you can't eat onions.
What?
What is going on? In this week's Torah portion of Parshah BeHa'Alotecha, we have one of the most incredibly complex and meaningful stories in the Bible. The parsha opens up with the people complaining. Ha'asafsuf. They gather and they start complaining to Moses. They say, we're sick of eating this manna. Zacharnu et hadagim. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt, the cucumbers and watermelons and onions. And they start to cry. And you look at the story and you go, hold on a second. These people a year ago were in Egypt. They were not receiving free meals of beautiful sides of salmon garnished with garlic and onions, with topped off with watermelons. What is going on over here? And the rabbis say, you need to dig a little bit deeper into the story. It's not about the manna, and it's not about the onions. And the rabbis point out that what they were complaining about was the breakdown of their world. Their world was built on an Egyptian paradigm where licentiousness and opportunities to be sexually free were prevalent. Comes the Torah and teaches us in the Ten Commandments, lo tinaf. You cannot have an affair with a married woman. There are hilchot arayot. There are laws related to sexual immorality, who you can have as a partner. And they start to cry about that. That, says Rashi, reading through the words of the Midrash, is what was the underlying cause of their complaints. They cried about onions and fish, but what they really were complaining about was the anger towards the system that was now curtailing their sexual freedom. A mind-blowing understanding in what appears to be a very simple story. And so, explains the great sage of the 20th century, of 𤁁𤄗𝐿. When you read through this story, and you read through other stories in the Bible, we need to realize that there are multiple layers in which to view the story. There are stories which we learn as children, but then we deep dive into them as adults, we find a whole new layer that suddenly appears before us. And so, what the Torah is teaching us is a fundamental principle, and that is, when you see people crying and complaining and demonstrating and anger, and you listen to what they have to say, the first question you have to ask, are they crying over onions or are they crying about something else? What exactly is their root cause of their complaint? The tragedy is, quite often, they don't even know. And that's the need to have an outsider that you can consult with, a guide, a rebbe, a teacher, someone that you trust that can say to you, look, I understand that you're upset, but let's dive deeper to try and understand. Today we have psychologists who try and understand the root causes. But you don't need to have a psychologist. You just need to have someone on the outside that can give you a different perspective. I'd like to share with you a story. A few months ago, there was an opportunity to attend a rally. And I was thinking of going to this rally. My intentions were to be there to support the people. I chatted to my brother-in-law, and he says, don't go. I said, but why? He says, because you're going to support. But I guarantee you that the people that are going to be speaking at the rally are not there for the same reasons as you are. And I guarantee you that it's going to be transformed into something that you're going to be very uncomfortable to attend. So, the better half won, and I didn't go to the rally. I was upset because I really wanted to show support. But he was right. He understood better than I did, because at that rally, comments were made which I would have been very uncomfortable with had I attended. And so, when you're hearing people crying and complaining, ask yourself the question, what is it at the root of this issue? Is it what they think, what they're shouting about? Or are they just crying over onions as an excuse for something more deeper, more dangerous, and more ugly? What a parsha. Cry over onions, something to think about. Shabbat Shalom. Hi, this is Rabbi Lewin. If you've enjoyed the content of the sermons
I'm not gonna lie, I
and the
don't feel
ideas
like I
that have been
really
expressed,
understood that. Like, I don't feel like I really got anything about how that connects to the Parsha. I get he's just trying to connect that to like the modern world, but what's that have to do with?
I was half afraid halfway through he was going to go into a sponsor pitch for callarabbi.com or something like that, where the need for talking. Oh, I don't think so. It's just I know I've seen so many YouTube videos sponsored by things like Better Health or something, where all of a sudden in the middle they'll slide into their sponsor pitch, and they'll try to some of them will try to have a seamless segue like that. Sometimes you need to talk to other people about things.
Ooh, interesting. A mystical explanation of the menorah.
Okay. Good to say about Leitcha, Peish Lamed Beis, first column Reis Dalit. Okay, so Al Rebbe is talking about this, where's the beef story? So he says, when Moshe Rabbeinu says, Hayar Hashem Tiksor, didn't mean, God forbid, that he's not going to have enough meat for everybody. What it means is, how do you expect it to come through me? I'm the level of Chochmah, and you want it to come through Gvura, which is beef. So, it can be. So Hashem says to him, the Chochmah can also come down into that level. That's basically what he says. Okay, so now he goes back to the question he asked before, at the beginning of the Maimer. He quoted the Medrash that says, right, what's the, Rashi brings it down, what's the connection between Behaalotecha and the Korbanos of the Nesiim? So it says, the Nesiim brought korbanos. Levi, where Aaron was upset that Levi didn't bring any korbanos. So Hashem said to him, yours is greater than theirs, because yours is going to be permanent. There's always going to be a Chanukah menorah, but the korbanos eventually stop. So he says, that yours is greater than theirs. What do you mean, greater than whom? Than the korbanos of the Nesiim. Kine, what's the Indian of a korban is called achilas hamizbeach. Like the pasuk says, the korbanos, the mizbeach eats the korbanos. They consume the korban. Shekmei ayidei achila, just like through physical eating. The meat becomes refined. Just like through physical eating. The meat becomes refined. Like you said before, you eat the food, now you have the strength to have this burning, because the meat is good, to have this burning love of Hashem. Just like physical eating is like that. So it is in the eating of the mizbeach. Just like food becomes one with the person, the korban becomes one with Hashem. Therefore, it's infinitely much greater than korbanos and than eating. Right? Obviously, the eating of the mizbeach is much greater than the eating of a person. Therefore, the Gemara says, now that we have no Beis HaMikdash, what forgives the person? What forgives mechila? The Gemara says that nowadays we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, we don't have korbanos. So what's the carbon? When you eat food, it's like in the place of korbanos, because it's the same thing. The mizbeach eats, you eat, whatever. That is the 12 korbanos of the Nasiim. Shakol Nasi Hela Shifta Ede Korbanet. Every Nasi elevated his tribe through the carbon. It became brought down in his shaving. Of his slavos. This longing, and what did he do when he brought a carbon? It wasn't the stomach, he elevated his whole shaving. Which is called Achilas Mizbeach, the same thing, Achilas Ad and Shemad Lukametiv Sanedes. The same thing Hashem said to him. When you kindle the menorah, that's the Megadol Mikabanis. No, it's even greater than a korban. Korban is eating of the Mizbeach. The menorah is even greater. Why is it greater? The menorah, it says, is Malchus of Atzilus. Which is called the Yud Beis Baka Shleish Peinim Tzafeina Vayom Aleim Milmaila. I'll explain in a second. Hayom is Malchus Atzilus, which is Aleim Milmaila. Okay. We learned already in Kabbalah. It says that the 12 Kabbalah, the 12 Nasiim, correspond with the Yud, with Shlomo Melech built the Beis HaMikdash. There was Yud Beis Bakar, and there was a Yam Aleim Milmaila, the water over them. So whatever simply it means, it means. But Kabbalistically, it says like this: the Yud Beis Bakar, the Ovis were Atzilus, right? Chochmah, Chesed, word, the verse of Atzilus. The Yud Beis Shvatim at the level of Bria. So the Mizbeach, the korbanos that elevated the Nasiim, is a level of Bria. The menorah is Malchus of Atzilus, which is a level of the Yam over them. Yam is Malchus.
The sea.
So therefore, that's even greater than the Yud Beis Shvatim. And he says, the Aaron.
I'd associate Yam with the sea, traditionally, but I don't know.
He says, that's why in parentheses. That's what the Nasiim brought 12 cattle. Because Yud Beis Bakar is the level of the 12 Nasiim in the level of Bria. Okay. Aaron who killed the menorah is also L'chlaz Yud Beis Shvatim. Is also including the 12 Shvatim L'chlaz Malchus. Shesh Bia Bahem Gam Kin Ayidei Halo. Shaya Kol Echad V'Achim Yisrael B'chinas Halazu. He says like this: Aaron HaKohen, when he kindled the menorah, elevated all 12 Shvatim. The expression of aliyah, right, simply means the candle, the flame has to go up. The whole wick has to catch on fire. He says, there's also the level. In other words, say this: eating is a level of gvura. It burns. The food gets burnt. That's fire. It's the gvura. So you have Yud Beis Shvatim. That's the level. Karbanis is the level of Gvura. You take the basar and you elevate it to Kedusha. What? Miyut? The 12 Shatim B'chlal. You elevated all of them. So now you have, so now the same thing with the menorah is also fire, which is l'chayra the level of Gvura. But he says, Ba'arin ba'atmu chesed. Aaron l'chayra is chesed. Right? Oyev shalom, reid shalom. So the question, how can Aaron kindle the menorah, which is the level of Gvura? He said, but even though Aaron himself was chesed, but the hashpah he gave to the Eden is a level of Gvura. Why? Because he's the shushvinu the matanusa. He is the accompaniment of the queen, shemagbiyah u'mayla knesses Yisrael, that he elevates the Jews, which is Eish going up versus Mayim that comes down. Why they are Gvura shem b'chinas Allah, and that's the level of Allah's names. Meaning, Aaron HaKohen elevated the Yidden. The level of Gvura, again, Eish, is going up. Aliyah. Mayim is Yordim mimakim gavei l'makim namuch. So you have two Avedis in serving Hashem. You have Hayeded Hashem al Har Sinai, V'Moshe Amar Alei Elokim. Okay, generally speaking, Torah, you learn Torah. So what happens when you learn Torah? You take Hashem's wisdom from up there and you bring it down into your head. That's Amshacha no Maila Lamata. That's why Torah is called Torah's Chesed al L'Sheina. You say in Eishes Chayil. Torah is level of Chesed. Torah is the concept of a Lukus coming down. Tefillah, on the other hand, which is Karbanis. Tefillah is instead of Karbanis. Tefillah is the level of Mamata L'Mayla. What's the Aveda davening? Refining the Nefesh Habamis. The whole Aveda is the Sulam, the ladder, the 4 levels. So get a Zimra and then this. So what's the Aveda of davening? Halom Mamata L'Mayla. And then you have the 3rd level, which is a combination of both together, Teferes. That's the level of the Gemilah Sadim. So you have in the 3 pillars of the world, you have Torah, Aveda, Gemilah Sadim. Torah brings the Lukus down. Tefillah, Aveda, Karbanis elevates the world to Kedusha. Like the Karbanis, you take and it goes burnt up on the Mizbeach, it becomes part of the Lukus, elevated. And then you have Gemilah Sadim, it's a combination of both together. Aaron HaKohen was elevating the Yid. He elevated the Jew. That's why it's interesting. At the end it says, Cain also. So Aaron did. So the Gemara says, Rashi quotes, La'agit shvacha shalarin shlishina. Tells the greatness of Aaron HaKohen. He didn't change. He did exactly like he was supposed to do. So the obvious question is, every woman lights Shabbos candles. And Erev Shabbos. Every man lights a Chanukah menorah. It's not a complicated thing to do. Okay, he took a flame from the Mizbeach, brought it to the menorah, lit the menorah. What's the big deal? So Aaron was so great. He didn't mess up kindling the menorah. It doesn't take, if they're a rocket scientist not to know how to light the menorah. What does Milagim Shachar Shalar Shlishina? So Chassidus explains, when Aaron kindled the menorah, he kindled the neshama of every single Jew. The Jews are divided into, why the 7 branches in the middle? Not 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 20. It says because there's 7 madrigas of Jews. Jews that serve Hashem with Chesed and Gvura, Ava and Yira, and 7 levels of Jews. So therefore, the menorah, kindling the menorah, was the concept of Aaron HaKohen, kindling and illuminating and elevating the neshama of every single Jew. And who? How do you know? You were there?
Because they went on the whole.
How do you know what he did?
But they had right after they had 10 scenes and all kind of indiscretion.
That God made it happen. Hashem made that happen.
Why did they even bless everybody and make them holy?
He did. He did. He made everybody holy, and that's why Hashem wanted them to become holy. And the only way you go up is by going down.
How do you answer that? Since Aaron was chesed?
Because Aaron was chesed, yet he was mashpia, elevated the level of the Yid to mamata l'mayla. No, he was chesed, but the chesed is to elevate a Jew higher. That's the chesed. He's elevating a Jew higher. So yeah, he was mashpia, and the Jews felt it at that time. They sinned. Free choice is not taken away, and even more so. Hashem definitely wanted every single Jew to sin.
It was Aliyah Letzorach Yehuda.
No, you read the Terech Aliyah.
It was
Okay. What's that? Oh, Agvoris Elu, but these level of Gvura ain't a bechinas yesh. It's not a level of yesh like it's mebir rabbasid, which is yesh. So like this. The difference between Aaron and the Karbanis, you're taking a behema, a yesh, and you're elevating on the mizbeach. Here, it's not a level of el bechinas ayinu bitul. Why? Shemu'uravim b'shemen upsila ba'or, because the menorah is coming in composed of three things: oil, wick, and fire. Even though elevating the wick is gvura, through the oil, which is absorbed in the wick. Okay, so like this: that shemen is bittul. Now, what was the kindling of the menorah? Yes, you had the wick, but what's burning? Not the wick is not burning. It's the oil that's in there is burning. Now, shemen is a level of bittul chokhmah. So it's not like a bonus for you to have a yesh, the behema, and elevating it to kedusha. Here is shemen, which is the level of bittul elevating to kedusha, and therefore he says, therefore his is greater than the kabbanis and the seal, which is achilus and mizbeach. Shalonim shel mibir abasa. That the gevod is still a level of yesh mi'ayev, which is a level of yudbei bakar elamabriya. Okay, so he says the kabbanis you're still taking a yesh and elevating it to kedusha, but I will top of the page. Adam adlokas menorah, him shel b'malchus is the level of menorah which is abal yisabi sod brata. In other words, like this: gevura is the level of bria. Chochmah is atzilus. Gevura is bina. And then you have vav is yitzira. What? Bina is bria. There's yud kei vav kei. Chochmah bina, 6 liters malchus. Yeah, that's yud kei vav kei. So yud is atzilus, which is bitul. Hey is a level of bria, which is bina, understanding that's already a yesh. Then you have the 6 midas, that's the level of yitzira, and asi is a level of malchus. So here he's elevating, he brings it down and elevating the level of atzilus with shemen. Shemen is not the yud beis bakar. The yud beis bakar is the level of bria, which bina is a yesh. I understand. It's not the bittul of chokhmah koyach ma. So shemen is a level of chokhmah. Karbanis is a level of bina. So his is greater because he was mamshech chokhmah versus the nesim that were mamshech bina. What? Das, yeah. So the says in Perek Gimel of Tanya. Because a lot of times you can have Chochmah and Bina. You understand something? You get turned on, and then as we all know, it dies. Question is, how long does it live for? 1 minute, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if you're lucky, an hour, and then it dies. Why does it die? Because you didn't bind yourself intellectually to the subject matter that you're learning. It's only, like it says, it's only external. When you internalize it, then it's permanent. Like as we learned many times, it's brought down in from a very simple mashal. When you do somebody a favor, after a short while they forget about it. But if you insult from somebody, you remember it for life. Right? Right. No, the more you do for them, I told you the story. There was a great tzaddik when he did somebody a favor, he would send a little pack of little pebbles. So yes, so why are you sending pebbles? He said, because everybody knows the more chesed you do for someone, the more they spit you in the face. He said, at least when you throw stones at me, throw little ones. Don't throw big ones, throw little ones. But when you insult somebody, they remember it for life, right? Why? Because that you touched them in the pulpit, to the core you touched them. A favor, that's the difference.
People remember not what you say, but what you do to them.
Correct. Correct. So what did you ask the question? So what is das? Das is feeling it. You can know there's a God, or you can feel there's a God. There's a story. One of the Talmidei Magid got married, and he went away to the Magid for a long time. And his father-in-law wasn't from Hasidic blood, just all the way back. Was fuming at him. He says he said finally the guy came back after a few years. So he said to him, "Well, no, what did you learn him is rich?" He said, "I learned there's a God." The guy got angry, called him the kitchen help. The women working in the kitchen, simple. He said, of course there's a God. He said, that's you went left your wife for 5 years, 3 years, whatever. He said, she says it, I know it. I tell you, there's a story here where the grandson of the grandfather told me the story himself. He's a prominent rabbi in the city, of a big show. And his grandkid went to a day camp in Monaco. It's about day camp in Monaco for the summer. So the first day he came back, he comes back from camp. The grandfather says, "No, what did you learn in camp today?" He says, "We want Mashiach now." So the grandfather says to him, "Yeah, but we all say that, He says, "You say it." There's a 5-year-old kid. You say it, we believe it.
He said that?
Yeah. The grandfather told it to me. I mean, imagine. He said, "You say it, we believe it." Maybe the kid was 8. But it was a little kid. It wasn't. That's das. Das is Amunah. Because you can learn something, but it's not you. That's the Amunah. Feeling it. So you can feel it. You can know it, but if you don't feel it, like Dr. Rebbe says, the seichel that creates midas, the end of Parah Gimel, Dr. Rebbe says, it doesn't have kiyam amiti. But when you feel it, that's the level of das. So das is ultimately das is connecting the seichel with the midas in a permanent way. When you feel it, it's subjective rather than objective. So then it's more. Das is not knowledge, that's chachma and bina. Understanding and knowledge. What? Is mamshech. Moshe Rabbeinu is mamshech das. In the sati eser b'satva. Every Jew has das, innately in the neshama, but he doesn't. It's not revealed in the way that he feels. Elokus. So Aaron brought down a level of chachma which is much greater than the Kabbalah of the Nesiim, which was the world of Bria. Bina. So he said, even though he was mamshech, he was chesed, but he was mamshech gvura. So he says, by Aaron's avodah was a level of bittul. By the Nesiim was a level of yesh. To the level of chachma, which is revealing itself in Atzilis, meaning shemesh bia ba'ava yachad, which is shem and ba'or. Okay, so he says like this: the nimtza, Aaron is the mamutza between the Nesiim and Moshe Rabbeinu. There's Moshe Rabbeinu, and then there was the Nesiim, and then intermediary between them was Aaron. Why? Moshe is the level of ba'ayin tachas abitul. He's called Shishvina the Malka, the accompaniment of the king. Aaron is called the accompaniment of the queen. Moshe Rabbeinu is called the king, which is neither Mechina Zah, which is called Malka. And the Nesiim is Allah mimata l'mayla from the world of Bria, which is Yesh. And Aaron is Shishvina matminilians. Aaron, Moshe Rabbeinu is Atzilus. And the Nesiim were Bria. Right? He said they're the world of Yubei's Baka. And Aaron was the mamutza between Atzilus and Bria. The fact that Aaron Akayin is elevating the neshamas, in order to elevate something, you have to be above it. If not, they'll drag you down. He was mamshech, the level of chachma and bina. They say Allah which is the level of mamutza ben Nesiim and Moshe Rabbeinu. Because one level is similar to the Nesiim, which he elevates the Jews, like the Nesiim do. He says like this: Moshe Rabbeinu, generally speaking, is like a Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu was mashpia mumayda lamata. Aaron HaKohen was the Nesiim, basically, elevated the Jews. They elevated through the korbanos, the fire, right? Went up. Aaron HaKohen was mashpia mumayla to have the halah milmata. He gave from above, that should have the elevation from above. So Aaron HaKohen was the mutza between Moshe and the Nesiim. Which is Ma'al calls him Shamis Yisrael. Okay, behind the Shemashpia Bechinas Abba Shei Deiza. Hello, Bechinas Ayin Bidul. And that's what he says in Mumutza. He's like the Nesiim that's elevating Mimata Lamaila, the menorah of Alois. Nevertheless, he's like Moshe because through his Gilui, Aaron HaKohen, Chesed, he was able to elevate the Jews. That's what it says. Yours is greater than theirs, because he can push it at a higher level. So in a certain respect, by the way, that's why Rashi says, sometimes it says Aaron and Moshe, sometimes it says Moshe and Aaron. So Rashi is Malamet Sheshneim Shkulim. They're equal. That means, what do you mean equal? There's a mile in Moshe Rabbeinu, and there was a mile in Aaron HaKohen that each one didn't have. But nevertheless, it's a very interesting thing. The Rebbe explains in the Sikha that the man was in the schus of Moshe, the water was in the schus of Miriam, and the clouds were in the schus of Aaron. Yeah. When Miriam died, Pasuk says there was no water left because the bear was in her schutz. Who brought the bear back when he hit the rock? Moshe Rabbeinu. Aaron died. Danani HaKavod ended. That's why the Kanani came to fight. Who brought back Danani HaKavod? Moshe. Which means the Rebbe explains what's the role of a Nasi. Whatever needs to be done, Like this, the well was in the schus of Miriam. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have to do it. It was taken care of. The clouds with the schus of Aaron, they were taken care of. They're not here anymore. So who's responsible now for Bnei Yisrael? Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what the Rebbe explains about the Tetzaveh. Whatever any generation needs, that's what the Moshe Rabbeinu of that generation takes care of. Because that's the role of a Nasi.
Every generation until today, we have Moshe Rabbeinu.
We have a your Moshe, no?
Moshe, right.
They come to Moshe, yeah, I believe it.
No, but seriously, so we have amongst us always.
There's always a Moshe Rabbeinu.
Not as you, something like that.
There's a Moshe Rabbeinu in every generation. The Zohar says, "This Pashnus is the Moshe b'chol dor v'dor." There's a Moshe Rabbeinu in every generation. Nothing personal, but it's not you.
All right, so now that we did that, I guess. Actually, let me see if I can find something from Jonathan Sachs. He had really good. Let's see. בהעלתך. What's this? The Jewish approach to war.
One of the most challenging things in today's day and age, especially as Israel is 8 months into the war, is what is our religious Torah perspective in war? How should we view the very harsh and difficult circumstance of going to war, needing to defend ourselves, God forbid, having to kill people, unfortunately civilians, which are never ever targeted by Israel, sometimes caught in the attempt to save lives, release hostages, and kill terrorists. How do we put this into a spiritual Torah perspective? No parsha puts it into a spiritual perspective more clearly than this parsha BeHa'Alotecha in 2 ways. The first one is an incredible one I heard from my colleague Rabbi Danny Mervis, about the mitzvah in this week's parsha to create, it says chatzotzrot, that when we go out to war, there's a need to blow the 2 silver trumpets to gather the troops to go to war. So when the Jewish people goes to war, there's a mitzvah to sound the trumpets. The incredible thing, though, is in the very same mitzvah of sounding the trumpets, we see that it's the same trumpets that are used in the temple for service in the temple. Because the very next verse says, whenever you want to gather people during the offering of the sacrifices, the same trumpets are used for in the temple during the time of the sacrifices. The Rambam counts this as one mitzvah. The same trumpets which are used to gather people in the Beit HaMikdash in the time of the festivals is the same trumpets that are used, indeed, in the Beit HaMikdash.
Is it implying that the war is a sacrifice?
That was kind of the sense I was getting, and I can't entirely disagree with the concept.
Yeah, but there's people who they'd hear this and be like, so the Jewish God does lock war as a sacrifice. It's like, yeah, there's plenty of others. It's like, I don't know. I feel like one of the issues, I truly believe that on some level, one of the reasons there is so much anti-Semitism in the world is primarily because a lot of people view Christianity and by extension monotheism almost as like a default. And so if that's the case, then you have all these issues that emerge with that. Like, trying to think just off the top of my head. Like, what was the issue of... Actually, wait, why was I saying that? No, it's something that I definitely... I was going
to say, from the Christian standpoint, most of them have a lot of trouble getting past the whole Jews killing Jesus thing.
Well, yeah.
For them, that's enough reason alone, but to be anti-Semitic.
No, but it goes beyond that because it's almost like this idea of, oh, well, don't you know how bad the Christian God is? And it's like, the thing is that if it wasn't for the normalization of Christianity as like kind of the default, and by extension, this idea, because keep in mind, the way people portray Jesus, it tends to be as, the Prince of Peace. They don't usually portray him unless they're particularly radical. They don't usually depict him as this warlike figure. But the truth is that, there's multiple Jesuses. And, it's like just within the same figure, within different narratives, you have different Jesuses, even though they're supposed to be talking about the same person.
Well, there's a Jesus for whatever you want to do. That was always one of the fun things we used to do with the Bible is, you get a principle, find a quote in the Bible that supported it, and find a quote in the Bible that refuted it. That was always a fun game.
Ain't that the truth?
One mitzvah. So much so, Sarah Moshe Feinstein says, he says that the mitzvah of the trumpets today do not apply in war because we...
Wait, what's this? Let's see. Is it going to open it up in the same? No, it's not. Shit.
Both the swastika and the pentagram have been made victims of propaganda, being used as a means to...
Brother, first of all, bitch, do not call it that word and the other one that word, okay? Time for us ladies to speak and not let these cis old boomer men talk. Okay, first of all, it's not called the word.
To the woke man that tried calling me out, first, men are not women. Men have a penis, women have a vagina. Now, the pentagram is also called a polygon and also called a pentagon. It's a 5-pointed star. The Star of David is a 6-pointed star. Now, the term swastika was used in 1878 in Ireland. The Nazi Party didn't form until 1933. Yes, other cultures will call it something different. So, there you go. Both the swastika and the pentagram.
Yeah, I commented on well, not on TikTok. I don't use TikTok, but basically, like,
one of the most challenging things.
I'm very. Oh shoot, where were we?
Tom says it's a book in and of itself, and 115 says that this is a book on its own. It's the only part of the Torah which is written in this book. Is the fact that.
Anyway, what I was saying is that, like, in terms of, yeah, I mean, I'm automatically kind of, well, not to say that I think that they are a certain way, but I'm immediately suspicious if someone who's, you know, like, they're not from a culture that has, like, a living tradition of using that symbol. Kind of sus if they start, you know, being like, oh, what a beautiful symbol, we should bring it back. Like, yeah, I'm going to be very suspicious, but no, I mean, like, the truth is that a lot of people don't know that the symbol that the Nazis used wasn't technically a swastika. It was a 𝐁𐄄𐄏𝐋𐕕, a hooked cross. Again, it's kind of like, you could argue it is splitting hairs, but the point being, though, is that there is a huge difference between people trying to talk about something in a certain context and people, you know, trying to use that as like a shoehorn for, you know, racist beliefs. And I mean, I don't know, it's so fucked up that I don't know, it's kind of like reminded me of, I don't even remember where, it was one of the Creative Judaism videos, that there's not a flag you can find that won't offend somebody. And of course, it's not to say that the flags are offensive, but it's just some people are offended by things. Then again, it's kind of like sometimes that offense is justified, but someone who's always offended at everything, how do you know when something's actually a problem if everything seems like a problem?
I was going to say, that's one of my rules, is never underestimate people's ability to be offended. And
no, I'm not underestimating their ability to be offended. I'm just saying that if they're offended by literally everything, then I think they might have some other issues going on.
Oh, agreed. That's one of those where I call it the outrage meter, where people can, you know, tougher skin versus thinner skin. And regardless of the situation, you can always move that outrage, you know, the outrage meter to 100 and be outraged regardless of the situation.
Wait, it stops at 100? I thought it was just like you could just keep dialing it continuously and continuously and continuously, and eventually it won't break, right?
Yeah, that doesn't work for my math, but I'm certain that some people have dials that work like that it goes to 100 and they just break it and it just keeps spinning to that point, and it's forever stuck at 100.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's
the need to fight for our values, to defend the values that are most important to us. The same service of God of closeness to the divine is the same service to protect the values of the divine and the Jewish people that are lived out in the Beit HaMikdash and in the Holy Land. And nowhere is this clearer in arguably the most famous part of this week's Parashah. We all know this. It's every single time we take out the Torah and put the Torah back. Listen to these two verses.
Torah Moshe.
In the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, 115 says that this is a book on its own. It's the only part of the Torah which is written in this Parashah with inverted brackets. It's a bracketed verses, so much so that the Talmud says it's a book in and of itself. And this book, the first and last, the first two verses, are the very verses we say when we take out the Torah. And when we put them back, what are we going to say? When we take out the Torah. And when we put back the Torah, we say, Uvnocho Yomar, Shuv Hashem. Hashem should return.
Return to us.
The verses in this week's Parsha saying that what is the Aaron? When the Jewish people go out to war, they take the Aaron HaKodesh out to war and they say, Kuma Hashem, vayafutzu evecha. Rise up Hashem. Hashem's presence is in the, so to speak, in the Aaron HaKodesh. And your enemy should be scattered. And when we come back from war, what do we say? Return, Shuva Hashem. Return Hashem, Revot Israel. Hashem is going to war. Hashem is returning. It's the Jewish people. And from this incredible book within a book, we see that the essence of the Torah is that the values of Hashem that are defended in war are indeed not only the values of the Jewish people, not only the survival of the Jewish people, but the values that we believe in. I believe in a God who is good, a God who is moral, a God who has designated the Jewish people for an moral and spiritual mission. And therefore, the battles of the Jewish people are milchamot Hashem, are those where Hashem's values are at stake. And that's what we see as a conclusion. The barbaric war against warmongers, terrorists who steal babies from their cribs, women and children which are still being held, grandparents, young children, boggles the mind. It is the barbaric, dark values of those who seek to uproot everything which is godly against those who portray beauty and the godliness of life. May we all, and I just want to end and say that Rabbi Herschel Schechter, Shliach Rosh Yeshiva University, has said a number of occasions in the RCA Convention of Rabbis and a number of times when we spoke to him, he said in his opinion, the mitzvah of defending the Jewish people today applies not only to everyone in Israel and to yeshiva students, it applies to every child above the age of 20 in 𝐻utzlaretz, that if we are needed to go to Israel, and if the army needs us, every person from the age of 20, in his opinion, should now go to Milchem Mitzvah. That's what is needed, because we are called upon to defend the values of Hashem. May Hashem bless us, have mercy on all of us, have mercy on our people, to Bezrat Hashem, that as we fight for the values of godliness and goodness, may it be with mercy, may the war end in a way that all the hostages return, all our soldiers are well, and indeed the values of life and light are furthered in Hashem's world.
All right, so I think we'll start. Oh wait, no, I need to find the. Shoot, where is it? Let's see. Torah prayer. Yay. Actually, give me one more moment. Let me see what I can find. Alright, yeah, let's see. Here, this should be good.
In Parashat BeHa'Alotecha, we have in the very beginning the mitzvah of Aaron HaKohen lighting the candles in the Mishkan. And Chazal tell us, Rashi brings this, that Aaron was sad because neither him nor his children or even his shevet got any part of the Chanukot HaNesiim. Last part of the previous parasha, we had all the korbanot of the Nesiim, and Aaron and his children didn't get any part in that. And Chazal tell us that that's the reason for the juxtaposition of this week's beginning of the parasha to that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu telling him, Shelcha gadol mishelahem, that your portion is greater than theirs, Shata madliket hanerah, that you are going to be lighting the menorah. The Ramban and Nachmanides has a number of questions in this, showing that this doesn't really make sense because it's not greater than the rest of the korbanot necessarily. And he comes up with saying that indeed this is a reference to Chanukah that's going to stay forever. Lighting the menorah is not just in the time of the Beit HaMikdash, but we're doing it even today in commemoration of the nest, the miracle of Chanukah that was also through the Kohanim, the children of Aaron HaKohen. But of course, this needs explanation because that's the Rabbanan, perhaps at the most. But I think what the deeper sense of it is, now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling him, the Mishkan is a vessel. Having all of the vessels of the Mishkan there, opening and inaugurating the Mishkan is all beautiful. But there is one element that makes all of it come together. There's one element that makes all of it worth, and that is the teaching of the Torah. The light of the menorah, Chazal tells Masechet Brachot, represents the teaching of the Torah. The source of Chokhmah is that menorah that Aaron HaKohen, the Stiftei Kohen Yishmeru Da'at, Kohanim were the teachers, the promoters of the Torah. And that light represents our passion, fire for learning, that everlasting candle, the Nir Ma'aravi that never went off. It shows the La'agita bo yomam v'layla. And that says, Chazal is the greatest bracha. Hashem is telling Aaron HaKohen, yes, you didn't have a chelik in building of the Mishkan, but you are the Mishkan. You are what makes it all come together. And that's something that's eternal, says the Ramban. It's not just when the Beit HaMikdash is standing. Even during the Churban Beit HaMikdash, during the exile, the Kohanim, the teachers of Torah, still are there. We live on, with or without the Beit HaMikdash, because we have the Torah. The light, the fire, the passion, the warmth that comes from the Torah and the Kohanim, the teachers of Torah, is what keeps us as a nation. That's the greatest lesson, the greatest avodah, the greatest work in the Mishkan, which has never ceased to exist. We still have it live and kicking, just like it was in time of the Mishkan. B'ezrat Hashem, should be zocheh to connect with that aspect of the Mishkan, aspect of learning Torah and teaching Torah. Amen.
Amen. Okay, so now we'll start. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אדוני אל משה לאמור, וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל אהרון, ואמרת אליו בהעלותך את הנרות אל מול פני המנורה, יאיר 7 הנרות, ויעש אהרון אל מול פני המנורה, העלה נרותיה כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה, וזה מעשה המנורה מקשה זהב, עד ירחה עד פרחה מקשה היא כמראה. אשר תראה אדוני את משה כן עשה את המנורה. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, קח את הלוויים מתוך בני ישראל וטהרת אותם, וכותה עשה להם לטהרם, הזה עליהם מחטאת והעבירו שר על כל בשרם, וכיבסו בגדיהם והטהרו ולקחו בן בקר ומנחתו פסולת פעולה בשמן ובשני בן בקר תקח לחטאת, והטרפת את הלוויים לפני אוהל מועד והאכלת את כל עדת בני ישראל. והטרפת את הלוויים לפני אדוני, וסמכו בני ישראל את ידיהם על הלוויים, והניף אהרון את הלוויים תנופה לפני אדוני מאת בני ישראל, והיו לעבוד את עבודת אדוני, והלוויים יסמכו את ידיהם על ראש הפרים, ועשה את האחד חטאת, ואת האחד עולה לאדוני לכפר על הלוויים, ועמדת את הלוויים לפני אהרון ולפני בניו, והנפת אותם תנופה לאדוני, והבדלת את הלוויים מתוך בני ישראל, והיו לי הלוויים. ואחריכם יבואו הלוויים לעבוד את אוהל מועד, וטהרת אותם והנפת אותם תנופה, כי נתונים הם לי מתוך בני ישראל תחת פטרת כל רחם, וכל קול מבני ישראל לקחתי אותם לי, כי לי כל בכור בבני ישראל באדם ובבהמה, ביום חקותי כל בכור בארץ מצרים הקדשתי אותם לי, ואקח את הלוויים תחת כל בכור בבני ישראל, ואתנה את הלוויים נתונים לאהרון ולבניו מתוך בני ישראל לעבוד את עבודת בני ישראל באוהל מועד, ולכפר על בני ישראל ולא.
Oh, so you know what's interesting? I only realized this a few days ago. So, you know Fiddler on the Roof?
Yeah, I've done the musical before.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, no, I was in the orchestra. Yeah, no, I actually had the role of the silly fiddler on stage. So yeah.
Oh wow. So check this out. I only realize this now because I'm studying more about Judaism, and let's see. I'm trying to find one where it's like, let's get someone.
Oh yeah, Fiddler on the Roof is a very Jewish film.
Yeah.
Are you muted, or are you just trying to find something?
Wait, am I muted?
No, I'm hearing you now.
Okay, no, I just forgot to share.
Okay.
Actually, let me see if I can find. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Christians, nothing wrong at all. I want to see if I can. Let's see. Here.
This is Sabbath prayer. I'm.
Let's see. What on earth? Let's see. Here, Marty Getz.
Hello, my name is Marty Getz, and my daughter Misha is filming this because she wants me and she wants my wife Jenny to get into the 21st century. So we're going to put this on YouTube, give us a little sample, and we'll begin and play a little song for you. It's a little prayer, and we're going to kind of initiate our entrance into this new world with this little song. I hope you're with May the Lord protect and defend you. May He always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. May you be like Ruth and like Esther. May you be deserving of praise. Strengthen them, O Lord, and keep them from the stranger's ways.
So hearing this, keep them from the stranger's ways. Now, okay, I mean, like, it seems pretty self-explanatory, except when you translate that into Hebrew. You know what the word for stranger is? It's actually the root for strange, but it gets it's connected to stranger as well.
No, I don't.
Zera. Like,
okay.
Or wait, what am I saying? Wait, oh my, wait. Oh no, Zara. I don't know why I said Zara. No, how I think it's, if you think about it, like, why not the like of all the ways to translate it, why not just say, why not find a way to say keep them Jewish, or like, but very specifically keep them from the stranger's ways. And the thing is, I think that it's probably a translation from Yiddish, which would have the similar, phrasing as Hebrew. And I think in this case, it's saying keep them from avodah zarah, keep them away from idol worship, which, I mean, contextually, I think it's suggesting, like, don't let them be converted to, I mean, it's supposed to take place in Russia, so, probably like Orthodox. See, the point is that regardless what it is, I just think it's kind of interesting that the word for idolatry, or kind of like not like blasphemy, but basically like apostasy, for lack of a better term, but not just apostasy, but because apostasy isn't really like a thing in Judaism. it's more, it's not like what you believe, it's more so what you do.
My understanding of the time period and everything, there wasn't a lot of proselytizing of the Jews. There wasn't really any expectation that the Jews were going to convert. It was basically managing the Jewish population.
Oh no, I know. But if she wanted to marry a Christian man, she would have converted.
Oh, right. And I was going to say part of what they're also warning about is too much business with the Gentiles and basically starting to side with the Gentiles over the Jews. And again, that can happen if that's where your business lies. Tag.
Well, and I mean that's like you in Talmud, Mishnah, you have like that concept that like there's just you're allowed to do business, but there's certain things like if you get wine, you have to make sure that it wasn't poured out to idols, and then it's like, well, there's ways of like making sure that even if it was, that it's like negated, and so you do that by like boiling it, and it's interesting how they get around to it, but the point being though is that idea of like the stranger's ways. I think that like because the ways of the stranger, okay, like, well, what's it mean the ways? Like that which they do, and implicitly it's talking about like that which is not Jewish. And it's kind of like, well, there's plenty of things that aren't like inherently Jewish that like aren't necessarily like they're not Jewish, they're just not Jewish, as opposed to they're not Jewish. Like I don't know, it's the the connotation like everybody eats bread, but only Jews say a certain prayer. Well, I mean, I guess nowadays you probably have people who aren't Jews who are still saying the prayer, but the point is that like it goes beyond that. But then with something like the actual traditions, I think that's what's being implied by ways, and that's also what's implied by avodah. And meanwhile, zara is a direct translation from stranger.
No, we're basically agreeing.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, that was basically the only reason I even brought that up. Wait, why did I bring that up? Was it something that was... I don't know.
Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, but I don't know what brought that up in my mind. Wait, was that Pitrat? Pitrat.
ישראל ולא יהיה בבני ישראל נרף ברשת בני ישראל אל הקודש ויעש משה ואהרון וכל עדת בני ישראל ללוויים ככל אשר ציווה אדוני את משה ללוויים כן עשו להם בני ישראל ויתחתקו הלוויים ויכבסו בגדיהם וינף אהרון אותם תנופת לפני אדוני ויכפר עליהם אהרון לטהרה ואחריכם באו הלוויים לעבוד את עבודתם באוהל מועד לפני אהרון ולפני בניו כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה על הלוויים כן עשו להם וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור זאת אשר ללוויים מבין 25 שנה ומעלה יבוא לספור שכר בעבודת אוהל מועד ומבין 50 שנה ישוב לשרף העבודה ולא יעבוד עוד משרת את אחיו באוהל מועד לשמור משמרת ועבודה לא יעבוד ככה תעשה ללוויים במשמרותם וידבר אדוני אל משה במדבר סיני בשנה השנית לצאתם מארץ מצרים בחודש הראשון לאמור ויעשו בני ישראל את הפסח במועדו ב14 יום בחודש הזה בין הערביים תעשו אותו במועדו ככל מקורותיו וככל משפטיו תעשו אותו וידבר משה אל בני ישראל לעשות הפסח ויעשו את הפסח בראשון ב14 יום לחודש בין הערביים במדבר סיני ככל אשר צווה אדוני את משה כן עשו בני ישראל ויהי אנשים אשר היו טמאים לנפש אדם ולא יחלו לעשות הפסח ביום ההוא ויקרבו לפני משה ולפני אהרון ביום ההוא ויאמרו האנשים ההם אליו אנחנו טמאים לנפש אדם למה נתגרע לבלתי אקריב את קורבן אדוני במועדו בתוך בני ישראל ויאמר עליהם משה עמדו בשמיעה ויסווה אדוני לכם וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל לאמור איש איש יהיה טמא לנפש ודרך רחוקה לכם או לדורותיכם ועשה פסח לאדוני בחודש השני ב14 יום בין הערביים יעשו אותו על מסות ומרורים יאכלו וישאירו ממנו עד בוקר ועשרים לא ישתהו בו כחלקת הפסח יעשו אותו והאיש אשר הוא טהור ובדרך לא היה וחדל לעשות הפסח ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מעמיה היא קורבן אדוני לא יקריב במועדו את כל יישא האיש ההוא וחייבו איתכם גר ועשה פסח לאדוני כחוקת הפסח וכמשפטו כן יעשה חוקה אחת יהיה לכם ולגר ולאזרח הארץ וביום הקים את המשכן כיסה הענן את המשכן לאוהל העדות ובערב יהיה על המשכן כמראה.
One moment, because I'm just multitasking real quick. Let's see. I'm just going to put up. So what is this? בהעלתך, what can we find? Light up the world. That should be good.
Shalom. This week's Torah portion in the land of Israel is Parshah BeHa'Alotecha, while Parshat Passover is read in the diaspora. Parshah BeHa'Alotecha, beginning in the book of Numbers, chapter 8, opens with God's instructions to Moshe to command Aaron, the high priest, Moshe's brother, that he should kindle the flames of the menorah. So, what is the menorah really all about? That's exactly the question posed by our sages, who ask, why is there a candelabrum in the inner sanctuary of the Holy Temple in the first place? God commanded it. It's an intrinsic part of the temple and its service. But why? What's it doing there? What's its purpose, they ask. God certainly doesn't need to see by its light. And what's more, the menorah was kindled in the Holy Temple every evening, shortly before sunset. The verse in Exodus chapter 27 verse 21 states, and you shall command the children of Israel, and they shall take to you pure olive oil, crushed for lighting, to kindle the lamp continually. Our sages in the Talmud explain that Torah's intention with the use of the word continually is from evening until morning, meaning the menorah is an evening thing. It was kindled in the evening, and it burned throughout the night until the morning. That's its time. That's how this commandment is meant to be fulfilled. But this further adds to our wonderment about the whole concept of the temple menorah, because the temple service was primarily conducted during the day with no activity at night. And the service of the menorah was the only exception to this rule, the only thing really going on at night. So open up your heart. The light of the menorah is no ordinary light. It's light on a different wavelength. It's an expedient that diffuses the light of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, which emanates from the Holy Temple. In 1 Kings chapter 6 and verse 4, we learn that King Solomon built the Holy Temple with a feature called narrowing windows. What are these narrowing windows? Unlike the windows in any other building in the world, these were narrow on the inside and wide on the outside. Their function was not like that of ordinary windows, which is to bring outside light into the room to illuminate it. Their purpose was to shine the divine light emanating from the menorah outside to illuminate the world. The menorah was kindled at night to effect a tikkun, a fixing for the entire world, precisely because the power of spiritual light is that it can shine even in the darkest of times. The light of the divine presence reaches out to all of us, and thus the Baal Shem Tov taught that the menorah's light also represents the inner light of the soul, which is always burning within us, even when we are in a state of darkness or despair. He taught that just as the menorah burned through the night in the Holy Temple, so too we can access the inner light of our soul even in the darkest of times, and strive to strengthen our spiritual connection to God, and use that light to guide us towards a brighter future. But open up your heart deeper still. A profound secret of Torah reveals that the 7 branches of the menorah correspond to the 7 openings of a person, which include his 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and the mouth. These are our lights, the portals to our soul, so to speak, that we are responsible to keep in purity. We can either cause them to shine, or to darken, God forbid. This connection between the menorah and the human body is a metaphor for the personal spiritual work that we each have to do in this world, our task of purifying ourselves and connecting with God. And the Baal Shem Tov also taught that the 7 branches correspond to the 7 attributes of the soul, which include love, awe, compassion, endurance, humility, bonding, and sovereignty. These attributes, reflected by the 7 openings of the body, are the same attributes that we studied about so much recently during the days of the counting of the Omer, representing the ways in which we can connect to God and bring his light into the world. And Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi taught that the 7 branches of the menorah also correspond to the 7 levels of the soul, which include nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yichida, and 2 additional levels that are beyond human comprehension to discuss. Each level of the soul represents a deeper connection with.
What do you make of the fact that it's 2 levels of the soul that are incomprehensible to the human?
Actually, you kind of slid definitions on me. He said it was something that couldn't be discussed. That's different than being incomprehensible.
No, here, listen.
Of the menorah also correspond to the 7 levels of the soul, which include nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yichida, and 2 additional levels that are beyond human comprehension to discuss.
That are beyond human comprehension to be able to, or to discuss.
Beyond human yeah. And I'm narrowing. I'm highlighting that discussion part of it, because there are things that you can comprehend but not discuss.
Yeah, but the whole idea is that, like, you might be able to hold idea, but if you're not able to express it, if you're not able to communicate that idea to, I guess you could say, but the thing is, he's not necessarily
And it's sort of like the analogy that probably works is trying to express what blue is.
Well, I mean, at least what I'm getting is, I think he's saying to just, I mean, that's definitely possible what you're saying, but it's also possible he's saying, like, that they're not, like some, was it that they're not, they're incomprehensible to humanity, and then he's just talking about discussing it. I don't know. Let me hear that.
Well, I was going to say, let me say there, if I had to explain the 2 different levels, one's the level that I'm talking about, that you can have, you can have the ideas for, but you can't express you can't express it. Another one is all you can do is experience it, but you can't even comprehend it.
And just to be clear, we're talking about like levels of the soul, or like
right. And well, again, it's also experiences. Each, different experiences happen on different levels of the soul. Is my take on it. The 2 are similar.
I see what you mean.
The days of the counting of the Omer, representing the ways in which we can connect to God and bring his light into the world. And Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi taught that the 7 branches of the menorah also correspond to the 7 levels of the soul, which include nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yichida, and 2 additional levels that are beyond human comprehension to discuss. Each level of the soul represents a deeper connection with God.
I don't know. I still think it's just too ambiguous. It's possible. They're beyond the human ability, human comprehension to just. I think it's kind of like, yeah, I think you're right, where it's like this idea of you can like experience something, but you can't express it.
Right. And I agree. It's like they're different things. You can understand things you can't express. Your ability to express and teach them shows, 1, it's a deeper level of understanding, but 2, it's a type of knowledge that allows that.
Interesting. 1 moment.
And requires a greater level of spiritual work and devotion to access. Bottom line of these teachings, by kindling the inner light of our souls, as it were, through our spiritual practice and our focus on deepening the quality of our relationship with God, we can access the deeper levels of the soul and hopefully bring more of his light into the world. This is the essence of our avodat Hashem, our service to God in this world, and it's the key to achieving spiritual growth and fulfillment in our own lives. So back to the beginning of our portion. The first 3 verses read as follows in Parshah BeHa'Alotecha. Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to Aaron and say to him, when you kindle the lamps, towards the face of the menorah shall the 7 lamps cast light." Aaron did so. Toward the face of the menorah, he kindled its lamps, as Hashem had commanded Moshe. Our sages are famously puzzled by the verse, and Aaron did so. Toward the face of the menorah, he kindled its lamps, as Hashem had commanded Moshe. What is the intention of this verse? It doesn't appear to be adding anything new or even clarifying anything. Would we have thought even for a moment that Aaron the priest would not perfectly fulfill Hashem's command as instructed by Moshe, so that we need an extra verse in the Torah just to confirm, just to tell us that Aaron did so, that Aaron did what he was told? Now, the comments of Rashi, who always aims to clarify the basic meaning in as straightforward a manner as possible, only serves to further our bewilderment, because Rashi writes that this verse comes to praise Aaron for not making a change. This verse is in praise of Aaron for not deviating from the divine instructions. But when did he ever? Aaron received many divine commandments, and we never needed before to be informed regarding any of them that Aaron didn't make a change, that he did what he was told. But this is really the deepest lesson in the world, a life lesson really that is particularly relevant to all of us. Look, Aaron lights the menorah in the exact same manner every single day at the same time, and yet he does so, the verse comes to teach us, with the same enthusiasm, with the same energy and excitement, which he felt the very first time. Every time is like the first time. The commandment never got old for him. He never lost his zeal, never allowed himself to sink into a pattern of doing it by rote. He never experienced the monotony of routine. That's what the verse praises Aaron for, with the words, and Aaron did so. And as Rashi elucidates, he didn't change a thing, unlike, pardon me, the earlier example of Aaron's own two sons, Nadav and Avihu, who we learned about in Parshat Shmini back in Leviticus chapter 9, who were so enthralled and excited by the exhilaration of God's presence at the dedication of the tabernacle that they went overboard. And they brought an unauthorized offering because they felt that they needed to express their attachment to God in a new and a special way, in their own way. Aaron's conduct regarding the menorah is the opposite. It was about regenerating, about perpetuating the original level of excitement over and over again and keeping it fresh and constant. Although it was a daily, regular task, he never allowed it to become mundane. It was new every day. On a deeper level still, Aaron's unwavering commitment to following God's commandments without changing anything in the service of the menorah, it represents the ideal of a person's complete surrender to God's will, of striving to follow God's commandments without deviation or compromise caused by ego. This requires a deep level of trust in God and a willingness to surrender one's own desires and one's own agendas in order to serve Him fully. So the great Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Kotsk taught that Rashi's statement on Aaron's unwavering commitment to following God's commandments without changing anything represents the importance of consistency in our spiritual pursuits as well. He taught that just as Aaron did not change anything in the service of the menorah, so too our goal should be to strive to maintain excitement in the consistency of our own spiritual efforts, even when faced with challenges or even when faced with distractions. This speaks to each of us because it's exactly the challenge that we face. It's exactly what our avodah, what our unique and individual service of God in this world is all about. How the light of the menorah reminds us, in the words of our sages, that each day should be new in your eyes, and no day should be like its predecessor. Every day we rekindle and draw strength and channel the divine light that flows through our souls, through our 7 lamps, as it were, shining forth, drawing power and direction for all our actions, so that we can illuminate like the menorah, spreading light and positivity in the world, striving to bring goodness into the world, even in the face of darkness and negativity, constantly renewing our energy and our preparedness to be a vessel for holding and sharing divine light. Thank you for watching this week's Jerusalem Lights weekly Torah lesson. Jerusalem Lights is a worldwide community of Torah lovers, and it's growing. A spiritual revolution is underway. It's called Torah for Everyone, and your support enables it to continue and grow. May each of you shine with the light of the divine presence and light up the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Interesting. What jumped into my head there as he was talking about, Aaron lighting the menorah, and each time, he was enthusiastic as the first time. I was thinking, it's like, well, that sounds like, feels like the first time, which was a song by Foreigner. And doesn't that tie back to Stranger, which is the Zara? And it's like, isn't that a sign of Yahweh working in the world? What do you think, Ariel? Tag.
I think that's a sign of pattern recognition.
You think I have pareidolia, going mania?
No, I think all of humanity does, actually. I think it's just a matter of people realizing it or not.
Yeah, no, that was just what it's like. Too many people make those sorts of connections and take huge significance from it. And it's like, no, sorry. Sometimes there is, but most of the time you're just reading tea leaves. Tag.
Yes. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, as Freud said. Well, actually, Freud never said that. It's one of
interesting.
That's one of those misattributions.
Yeah. No, interesting.
Let's see. Where is it? Here.
הבוקר כן יהיה תמיד הענן יחסנו ומאש לילה ולפי העלות הענן מעל האוהל ואחרי כן ייסעו בני ישראל ובמקום אשר ישכון שם הענן שם יחנו בני ישראל על פי אדוני ייסעו בני ישראל ועל פי אדוני יחנו כל ימי אשר ישכון הענן על המשכן عنان يعلو وهاريخ عنان على המשכן ימים רבים ושמרו בני ישראל את משמרת אדוני ולא ייסעו ויש אשר יהיה הענן ימים מספר על המשכן על פי אדוני יענו ועל פי אדוני ייסעו ויש אשר יהיה הענן מערב עד בוקר ונעלה הענן בבוקר ונסעו או יומם ולילה ונעלה הענן ונסעו או יומיים או חודש או ימים והאריך הענן על המשכן לשון עליו יענו בני ישראל ולא ייסעו ובהעלתך ייסעו על פי אדוני יענו ועל פי אדוני ייסעו את משמרת אדוני שמרו על פי אדוני ואת משה וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור עשה לך שתת עשרות כסף מחשב תעשה אותם והיו לך למקרא העדה ולמסע את המחנות ותקעו בהן ונועדו אליך כל העדה אל בית אוהל מועד ואם באחת תפקעו ונועדו אליך הנשיאים ראשי אלפי ישראל ותחתם תרועה ונעשו המחנות האחרונים תזמר ותחתם תרועה שנית ונעשו המחנות האחרונים תמנה תרועה יפקעו למסעיהם והתחיל את הקהל תפקעו ולא תריעו ובני אהרון הכהנים יפקעו בחצוצרות והיו לכם לחוקת עולם לדורותיכם וכי תבואו מלחמה בארצכם על שפת מסורתכם והריעותם בחצוצרות ונזכרתם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם ונושעתם מאויביכם וביום שמחתכם ובמועדיכם וראשי חודשיכם ותחתם בחצוצרות על עולותיכם ועל זבחי שלמיכם והיו לכם לזיכרון לפני אלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם ויהי בשנה השני בחודש השני ב20 בחודש נעלה הענן מעל משכן העדות וייסעו בני ישראל למסעיהם ממדבר סיני וישכון הענן במדבר פרן וייסעו בראשונה על פי אדוני ביד משה וייסע תרל מחנה בני יהודה בראשונה לסבאותם ועל סבאות נחשון בן עמי נדב ועל סבא מטרי בני יששכר נתנאל בן סוער ועל סבא מטרי בני זבולון אליאב בן חילון והורד המשכן ונעשעו בני גרשון ובני מררי נושאי המשכן ונסע תרל מחנה רקובים לסבאותם ועל סבאות אליסור בן שדאור ועל סבא מטרי בני שמעון שלומיאל בן סורי שדאי ועל סבא מטרי בני גד אליסף בן דעואל ונעשעו הקהתים נושאי המקדש והקימו את המשכן עד בואם ונסע תרל מחנה בני אפרים לסבאותם ועל סבאות אלישמע בן עמי הוד ועל סבא מטרי בני מנשה גמליאל בן פדסור ועל סבא מטרי בני בנימין אבידן בן גדעוני ונסע תרל מחנה בני דן מאסף לכל המחנות לסבאותם ועל סבאות אחיעזר בן עמי שדאי ועל סבא מטרי בני אשר אריאל בן עוכן ועל סבא מטרי בני נפתלי אחירה בן עינן אלה מסעי בני ישראל לסבאותם וייסעו ויאמר משה לחובב וזרעו אל המדייני חותן משה נוסעים.
This is strange. So you have Hovav, the son of Reuel, but Reuel's, according to one tradition, is Reuel is Jethro, and I thought there was another tradition that actually had Hovav as also being Jethro. Maybe I just got confused and it's the son of Jethro. But either way, it's interesting how some of these characters, they have dual names, or at least traditions that describe these both characters to be one figure. And people just kind of glance over it and don't really notice.
Oh, the number of times that happens, again, the number of characters that have more than one father is hilarious too.
Oh, I mean, you have like an example. I mean, I'm not doubting you. I know you're right. Do you have an example?
Oh, Zerubbabel is one. He appears in both lineages in the New Testament, but in each of the lineages, his father is listed as different.
Okay, but I mean that's also New Testament. It's possible that they got confused. In fact,
Well, I'm just saying that's just an example of that one. I don't know what it says as far as the Hebrew text. I mean, they may have actually been quoting the Hebrew text accurately in the New Testament. There may have actually been two different traditions in the Hebrew text.
well, I mean, because you also have the dual. I just put my tongue in. You also have like the two lineages ascribed to Jesus, and then it's like, oh well, one of them is supposed to be Joseph, but either way, it still doesn't make sense.
Well, didn't Jethro have an alternate name as Moses' father-in-law too in Exodus?
Reuel.
Okay, that was in Exodus. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like, like the idea that Melchizedek is Seth, or not Seth, but is Shem. Or the idea that it's interesting. It's just people just take it at face value and don't
Jacob Israel.
Well, no, I mean that's pretty clear because the narrative, like it's the
you can't escape it.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, there might be a bit of confusion, but you can go back to that and see that it's a title that's being given to him, or a name. But like the point is, it's being given to him. It's not something that he already had. So, like, if there's a story within the narrative that and that's how Jethro got the name Reuel, or Reuel got the name Jethro, but we don't have that. To the best of my knowledge.
What you're saying is you're against the concept of a pre-existent Israel within Jacob.
I mean, it's the same person. That's like saying, like for instance, my
I'm just playing off of Christian heresies where they would slaughter people over such distinctions.
But no, it's kind of like this idea that like for instance, I think there's also like a soul associated with a name, and so like if you have like a bad or a weak soul or something, you can like trick, like, I guess, reality by renaming yourself, like taking on like a name that's associated with like health or wellness, or I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. But anyway, let's continue. What was it here? Here we go. So we've got, I think this would be 10 more minutes left, yeah.
אדוני אותו אתן לכם לך איתן ויטבנו לך כי אדוני דיברו על ישראל ויאמר אליו לא אלך כי אם ארצי ואל מולדתי אלך ויאמר אל נא תעזוב אותנו כי על כן ידעת אנוכנו במדבר והיית לנו לעיניים והיה כתרך עמנו והיה הטוב ההוא אשר יטיב אדוני עמנו ויטבנו לך ויצעק מהר אדוני דרך שלושת ימים וארון בריך אדוני נוסע לפניהם דרך שלושת ימים לתור להם מנוחה וענן אדוני עליהם יומם ונוסעם מן המחנה וינצוע הארון ויאמר משה ומה אדוני ויחוסו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך ובנוחו יאמר שובה אדוני ריבבות אלפי ישראל ויהי העם כמתאוננים רע באוזני אדוני וישמע אדוני ויחר אפו ותבער בם אש אדוני ותאכל בכסה המחנה ויצעק העם אל משה ויתפלל משה אל אדוני ותשקע האש ויקרא שם המקום ההוא תבערה כי בערה אש אדוני והספסוף אשר בקרבו יתאוו תאוואם וישובו ויבכו גם בני ישראל ויאמרו מי יאכילנו בשר זכרנו את הדגה אשר נאכל במצרים חינם את הקישואים ואת האבטיחים, ואת החסיר ואת הבצלים, ואת השומין, ועתה נפשנו יבשה, אין כל בלתי, אל המן עינינו, והמן התרגענו, ועינו כעין הבדולה, שתו ולעטפו, וטחנו ברחיים, ודחו במדוכה, ובשלו בברור, ועשו אותו נורות, והיה טעמו כטעם לשעת השמן, וברדת הטל על המחנה לילה ירד המן עליו, וישמע משה את העם בוכה למשפחותיו, איש לפתח אהלו, ויעט אדוני מאוד, ובעיני משה רע, ויאמר משה אל אדוני, למה הרעותה לעבדך, ולמה לא מצאתי חן בעיניך לשום את מסע כל העם הזה עלי, האנוכי הריתי את כל העם הזה, אם אנוכי ילתימו, כי תאמר אליי, שאהו ועבדיך, כאשר יישא האומן את היונק על האדמה, אשר נשבעת לאבותיו, מאין לי בשר לתת לכל העם הזה, כי יבכו עלי לאמור, תן לנו בשר ונאכלה, לא אוכל אנוכי לבדי לשאת את כל העם הזה, כי חבר ממני, ואם ככה אתה עושה לי, הולכני נא הרוך, אם מצאתי חן בעיניך, ואל אראה ורעתי. ויאמר אדוני אל משה, אספה לי 70 איש מזקני ישראל, אשר ידעת כי הם זקני העם, ושוטריו, ולקחת אותם את אוהל מועד, והתייצבו שם עמך, וירדתי ודיברתי עמך שם, ואסרתי מן הרוח אשר עליך, ושמתי עליהם, ונשאו איתך במסע, ולא תישא אתה לבדך, ואל העם תאמר, התקדשו למחר, ואכלתם בשר, כי בכיתם באוזני אדוני, לאמור מי יאכילנו בשר, כי טוב לנו במצרים, ונתן אדוני לכם בשר, ואכלתם לא יום אחד תאכלו, ולא יומיים, ולא 5 ימים, ולא 10 ימים, ולא 20 יום, עד חודש ימים, עד אשר יצא מאפיכם, והיה לכם לזרע יען, כי מאסתם את אדוני אשר בקרבכם, ותבכו לפניו לאמור, למה זה יצאנו ממצרים, ויאמר כל העדה אל בית אוהל מועד, ואם בעת מסע כל העם תקדשו למחר, והם בכתובים ולא יסרקו, הולכני נא הרוך, אומר באוזני אדוני, וישמע אדוני ויך, שנוסעים אנחנו אל המקום אשר אמר אדוני אותי אליהם, על כן יד היה עמן איתך רבבות אלפי ישראל, נאכל במצרים חינם את הקישואים, ואת האבטיחים, ואת החסיר, ואת הבצלים, ואת השומין, התרגענו ועינו כעין הבדולה, שתו ולעטפו, ועשו מולות האי, שאהו ועבדיך, כאשר יישא האומן את היונק על האדמה שם, ואסרתי מן הרוח אשר עליך, ושמתי עליהם, ונשאו אשר טוב לנו במצרים, ונתן אדוני לכם בשר, ואכלתם לא יום אחד תאכלו, ולא יומיים, ולא 5 ימים, ולא 10 ימים, ולא 20 יום, עד חודש ימים, עד אשר יצא מאפיכם, והיה לכם לזרע יען.
Then as it comes out of your nose and becomes to you, becomes nauseating to you, so that you have, on account of, what's coming out of their noses? That's kind of gross.
Well, I'm just saying that the ancients found snot as disgusting, like most normal human beings.
Snockets. Ugh, it's gross.
I think that's part of the point of the verse.
Though it was talking about eating meat before, so I don't know. Maybe it's talking about the meat coming out of their noses. It's kind of gross, though.
I think they're talking about it being bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I generally get that that impression as well. Let's see, where is it? Oh, 5 more minutes. Sweet.
واتفقوا لفنوا لموت لما زي يصانوا من مصرايم ويوم يطمشي 600,000 طريق أشير أنوخي ببرو ويأتى أماتا بسط التين لهم ويأخلوا حودش يمين حصول وغقات يشحق لهم ومصالهم إن إفقل دغي هيام يأسف لهم ومصالهم ويومر أدوناي المشي هيا أدوناي تقصر حتى فرقه هيقلق دبري يملو ويصيب مشي ويدبر العام دبري أدوناي ويأسوف جمعين إيش نسبني عام ويعمل قوتان سيري بوث هؤلاء ويرد أدوناي بيعنان ويدبر إلى ويصيب من الروح أشير على ويتين عن شمعين إيش الزقين ويكنوا عليهم هروح ويتنبئوا ولو يسافوا ويشعروا جنيان شيم ضمع عليه شيم هائحات الداد وشيم هالشنين مداد وتانع عليهم هروح وهم بكروا بهم ولو يصيقوا هاتوا هنا ويتنبئوا ضمع عليه وياروا النار ويبكر لمشي ويومار الداد ومداد.
Interesting. So Tanakh with a chet means. Oh wait, where was I? I just saw it. Machane. What was this? Just say. Oh, I think it just went. Okay. Yeah, ba machane. Where is it? Tanakh.
ضمع عليه وياروا النار ويبكر لمشي ويومار الداد ومداد يتنبئين ضمع عليه ويان يهوشوع بالنون مش مداد وتانع عليهم.
Yeah, I wonder if the site of Tanakh was named after this idea. Like maybe it was a rest stop. If Tanakh means rest, yeah, and it's the same root as Machan. I think Nach, Machan, Chan. No, but it has the same root, or not same root. They have the same 2 root letters, I think, or some of them. Sorry, I'm tired. Oh, before we continue, any thoughts on Tanakh, the site, not the text?
No, that sounds like a reasonable theory. I don't really have anything to say one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm actually going to look this up real quick. Let's see. Tanakh. Let's see. City. Let's see. City of Tanakh. Ta'anach. That apparently in the city in the Bible it's spelled Taf Ainun Chaf. So it's completely wrong, completely off. Unless they misspelled on purpose. Let's see, what's the root? I don't know. It's probably from Ta'ank. Ta'anak. It's probably something to do with Ankh, right? If it's from Egyptian.
Could be that you're talking into an Egyptian loan word, and you are far above my pay grade in interpreting at this point, Ariel.
Any other comments? I just have to use the restroom real quick.
No, just not a whole lot of comments. Just following along and commenting where I can. Again, things like Egyptian loan words. That's I don't know enough Hebrew and enough Egyptian to have any sort of judgment. But
Yeah, so I want to see what I can find on that etymology though, because I bet you there's something interesting there. I just don't know what it is.
yeah, no, I was going to say I did have one in which I questioned the interpretation of the rules. The rules in the Hebrew Bible are saying what people can and can't do. It's more like they're saying what people should do if they don't want to feel repercussions from God. You can do the other stuff, but you're just going to face the wrath instead. And again, the history related in the Bible kind of shows that to be true.
Yeah, I mean, also there's the theory that it wasn't even supposed to be applied to everyone, but specifically the Levites.
So you're saying that the Levites screwed it up for everyone?
Honestly, I don't. It's probably more likely that the other people started taking it on in lieu of the absence of the temple.
Oh, okay. It wasn't that the Levites were offloading it onto the rest of the people. Got it.
No, why would they want to give away their special thing? I mean, I guess you could argue they still have their extra special thing, but still.
Oh, I thought they were offloading the responsibilities and they were keeping the special things for themselves.
That's always a possibility.
That's usually what I expect from the priest class.
Let's see. So, named after. I'm surprised I can't find more on it. Let's see. Okay, here. Let's see. Antiquity. Let's see. Okay, this is interesting. So, Ta'anak was also, what's the word? Oh my god, I'm like blanking. It was a Levite city.
One of those cities they weren't supposed to have. Got it.
What do you mean they weren't supposed to have it?
Well, I thought that was the thing with the tribe of Levites. They didn't get their own land or cities. Every other tribe got it, and they just sort of shared in everybody else's stuff.
So, kind of. They didn't get their own land, but they did get their own cities.
I'm not sure how you parse cities from land, because cities are kind of sitting on land to me. So
It goes into the whole rural-urban divide, which arguably also has some connections to the division between the elite and the commoners. If you think
gotcha.
about it.
Yeah, no, and that would also go into the whole burning of the Asherahs with the city over the country, with the consolidation of power in the cities as well. Yeah, makes sense.
Let's see. Right here.
ويعرس النار ويبجد لموشي ويومر الداد ومداد يتنبئين مما حني ويان يهوشوع بن نون مشاريت موشي ببحراو ويومر أدوني موشي كلاهم ويوم يطلب موشي هامتني التالي ومي يتين والعام أدوني نبيين يتين أدوني اترغو عليهم ويأسيت موشي الهمحني هو ويسكني إسرائيل ويروح نسع مئة أدوناي ويابوز السلبين מן הים ויטוש על המחנה כדרך יום כה וכדרך יום כה סביבות המחנה וכאמתיים על פני הארץ ויקום העם כל היום ההוא וכל הלילה וכל יום המחרת ויאספו את הסלע הממעיט אסף 10 כוכבים וישלחו להם שטוח סביבות המחנה הבשר עודנו בין שניהם טרם יכרת ואז אדוני הרב העם ויך אדוני בעם מכה רבה מאוד ויקרא את שם המקום ההוא קברות התאווה כי שם קברו את העם המתאווים מקברות התאווה נעשהו העם חסרות ויהיו בחסרות ותדבר מרים ואהרון ומשה על אודות האישה הכושית אשר לקח כאישה כושית לקח ויאמרו הרק אז במשה דבר אדוני הלא גם בנו דיבר וישמע אדוני והאיש משה ענהו מאוד מכל האדם אשר על פני האדמה ויאמר אדוני פתאום אל משה ואל אהרון ואל מרים צאו שלושתכם אל אוהל מועד ויצאו שלושתם וירד אדוני בעמוד ענן ויעמוד פתח האוהל ויקרא אהרון ומרים ויצאו שניהם ויאמר שמעונה דברי אם יהיה נביא אחם אדוני במראה אליו אתוודע בחלום אדבר בו לא כן עבדי משה בכל ביתי נאמן הוא ואל אדבר בו ומראה ולא יחידות ותמונת אדוני יפיף ומדוע לא ירדם לדבר בעבדי ומשה ויחרף אדוני בא וילך והענן סף מעל האוהל והנה מרים מזרעת כשליח ויפן אהרון אל מרים והנה מזרעת ויאמר אהרון אל משה בי אדוני אל נא תשת עלינו חטאת אשר נאכל ואשר חטאנו אל נא והיא כמת אשר בסתו מרחם אמו ויתאכל חשי בשרו ויצעק משה אל אדוני לאמור נא לפניי ויאמר אדוני אל משה ואבימה ירוק ירק בפניה הלא תקלן 7 ימים תסגר 7 ימים מחוץ למחנה ואחת תאסף ותסגר מרים מחוץ למחנה 7 ימים והעם לא נסע עד האסף מרים ואחת נסעו העם מהסרירות ויחנו במדבר פרן.
Oof. All right then. Let's see, where is it? Oh, I want to see. Wait.
Bless you twice.
You know, it's kind of interesting. We only say bless you when people sneeze, not when they cough. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, that's just social convention, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. All right. So before we end off, I was going to open up a separate stream, but it seems kind of silly for literally how short it would be. So on that note, really quick, actually, before I forget, just to give context, let's see, where is it? Here, or no, let's see. Also kind of interesting that, so in Fallout 76, I just wanted to talk about this real quick. Minerva, there's a character named Minerva, which is, it's kind of interesting. And, wait, where is it? Let's see. Fallout 76. Can I find anything about that? Yeah, here.
One day, while making our way to Foundation, we see that someone has erected a big tent just outside the Foundation gates. Here we find a couple of people walking around and a lady hollering at us.
Why pay full price when you can buy my recreations at a discount?
Next to her stands a guy wearing a blue fedora named Tommy Ten Toes.
If she's looking to buy something, talk to Minerva. I'm just a hired muscle. Nobody's got to talk to me. Of course, you could talk to me. I love talking. You want to talk to me?
How's life as a caravan guard?
Oh, you know, none too bad, none too good. A lot of walking, a bit of shooting, mostly just standing around trying to look all intimidating like.
How'd you get your name?
Well, they call me Tommy Ten Toes on account of my 10 toes on the one foot. They used to call me Tommy the Nose. Pretty sure it's because I knows a lot. I knows about business. I knows about guns. I knows it all. After getting all ghouly, they stopped calling me the Nose. Maybe they don't think I knows it like I used to. But I got these toes, though, you know, more than I can count. Wait, 15 toes. Oh, now you see, Tommy still knows.
Hold on a second. 10 toes on 1 foot?
Oh, yeah, you want to see them? Oh, sorry. Minerva said I can't be taking my shoes off in front of customers no more. Especially after what happened at Chattanooga. That poor little doggy.
Oh, thanks for the story, Tommy.
Hey, anytime, Pally.
What's it like working for Minerva?
Yeah, to be clear, Tommy don't work for Minerva. Tommy works for the Blue Line. That poor little doggy.
Oh, thanks for the story, Tommy.
Especially after what happened at Chattanooga. That poor little doggy.
Oh, thanks for the story, Tommy.
Hey, anytime, Pally.
What's it like working for Minerva?
Yeah, to be clear, Tommy don't work for Minerva. Tommy works for the Blue Ridge Caravan Company. But seeing as I only ever gets paired with Minerva, I guess it don't make much difference. Anyway, she's all right. Hey, you know that she draws them pictures of guns and stuff herself, right? And people are actually buying them? Maybe I should sell some drawings, too. I draw animals real good. Like them kangaroos, and the rhinoceroses.
Low prices.
Yeah, I love rhinoceroses.
Settle on these bargains.
You ever been to the zoo? I miss zoos.
No.
Like them kangaroos, and the rhinoceroses.
Low prices.
Yeah, I love rhinoceroses.
Settle on these bargains.
You ever been to the zoo? I miss zoos.
No.
You see, that's too bad. There's not enough zoos these days. People are being deprived, I tells you.
Or we could have said, of course.
Yeah, I thought so. You look like the zoo type. Got it right again, Tommy.
Talk to you later, Tommy.
Another time, then. Okay.
Moving towards Minerva.
Hello, Appalachia. My name's Minerva. My game's handcrafted replications of the rarest plans and recipes. Every component and mechanism recreated precisely to a fraction of 100th of a millimeter. Minerva, at your service. Looking for some weaponry schematics? Maybe a pattern for a swanky new set of armor.
What sort of things do you sell here?
You'd think with all the carnival barking I do, I wouldn't get this question much. But alas, here I go, answering it again. My caravan sells recreations of all sorts of rare plans and recipes at discounted.
I don't know whether it's supposed to be on the nose or not, but like her name's Minerva. She's she has this perfect mind that she's able to replicate things just from memory. Like, come on, it's so clear that like it's pulling on, you know, the whole tradition of Minerva and Athena. I don't know.
Definitely.
Prices, no less. I've got what you'd call a photographic memory. If I've seen it, I can picture it and draw it exactly so. The human copying machine, they say. But I suspect that name will lose its veneer once anyone that remembers copying machines has died off. If you're interested in plans at unbeatable prices, I'm the best at the lose its veneer once anyone that remembers copying machines has died off. If you're interested in plans at unbeatable prices, I'm the best that the Blue Ridge Caravan Company has.
A photographic memory? Isn't this a waste of your talent?
And what else could I be spending my talent on, pray tell? Turning a profit is all I know, and all I ever want to know.
You're with the Blue Ridge Caravan Company?
Sure am. Been with them since I was a pint-sized brainy brat. I'm originally from D.C. Survived the bombs thanks to my local library, seconding as a bomb shelter. Wound up wandering from group to group, until my talents caught the eye of some Blue Ridge folks passing through. I ended up being an apprentice for a book salesman, and rewriting books by hand. He was a dear friend, and a great mentor. After he passed, I took over his caravan. Switched from books to something a little more catered to the modern survivor's needs, though. But Blue Ridge are my business partners and my family. I couldn't ask for a better one.
How long will you be here?
Not long. So if you've got your eye on something, act fast. My stock is constantly rotating with new and exciting observations from my travels. But it took until my talents caught the eye of the local library, seconding them since I was a pint-sized brainy brat. I'm originally from D.C. Survived the bombs thanks to
the time.
My mind, maybe, but you can while I'm here. From my travels. But that also means you're eye on something, act fast. I couldn't ask for a better one.
How long will you be here?
Not long. So if you've got your eye on something, act fast. My stock is constantly rotating with new and exciting observations from my travels. But But that also means you're unlikely to see the same thing on back-to-back visits, so grab what you can while I'm here.
Wait, I thought you make all this from memory. Why can't you just offer everything all the time?
My mind may be unending, but I can only draw so much before my wrist snaps in two. Not many treatments for carpal tunnel syndrome in the wasteland, you know?
What's with the big ghoul in the hat?
Tommy? Well, it wouldn't be a caravan without someone riding shotgun. He may seem intimidating, but he's a big, goofy teddy bear. Loves to chat, so say hi. Try and steal something, though, and he will rip your sternum out. I've seen him do it. Very graphic.
All right, see you later.
Mm-hmm. But don't forget, I won't be around here forever. Make sure you grab the goods you want before they're gone.
So that's Minerva. She arrived with the Steel Rain DLC. She has a Brahmin named Minos, another reference to Greco-Roman mythology, and like she said, she has a rotating inventory. As of this recording, she was selling plans for the entire Brotherhood Recon set, a floater flamer grenade, and the Gauss shotgun, with a small selection of Gauss shotgun mods. The real
Wish that they had that, but no. I just get the Secret Service armor, which is still pretty cool.
benefit of finding Minerva is that all of these plans are 25% off, and they don't require any faction, quest, or level requirements to purchase them. The problem is that we never really know where she's going to be, or which plans she'll have on her inventory. Luckily, Minerva has figured out that she has a better chance of actually selling her goods if she strikes camp outside of populated areas, and therefore she only spawns in one of three locations, either outside Foundation, outside Crater, or outside Fort Atlas. Whichever one she chooses appears.
This is funny. I don't know why, but like I saw the like fringe here in the corner of my eye, and I thought it was someone. I mean, obviously I knew nobody was coming down here, but it's like it looked like, I don't know, it's funny, just a silhouette, but no.
Appears to be random, and her location changes every week, but she's not there all week. She usually shows up around noon Eastern time on a Monday and only stays through Wednesday, and then she's gone for the rest of the week. She keeps that schedule for about 3 weeks, but on the fourth week, she appears around noon on a Thursday and stays from Thursday to Monday. This fourth week is special because on the fourth week, she has Minerva's big sale. The only difference between her regular inventory and her big sale inventory is she has about 3 times the number of plans available for sale. In this example, she only had the Gauss shotgun weapon available for sale, but the following week, during Minerva's big sale, she had the Gauss shotgun, the Gauss minigun, the plasma caster, the gutter, and a bunch of armor, weapon mods, and settlement objects for sale. At the moment, she has 24 different inventories that she can spawn with, 18 regular inventories, and 6 big sale inventories. Each inventory will have a small selection spawn with, and settlement objects for sale. At the moment, she has 24 different inventories that she can spawn with, 18 regular inventories, and 6 big sale inventories. Each inventory will have a small selection of some of the best goods available in Appalachia, and sometimes, weeks later, some of the same goods will appear in subsequent inventories. The Gauss minigun, for example, appears 4 times, twice in her regular inventories, and twice in her big sale inventories. She never sells all plans available in the game, but she does sell many of the rare ones, including most of the sought-after weapons and armor. A 25% discount can go a long way, so if you can predict which week she'll appear to sell, for example, the T65 set, you can save a bunch of bullion by buying the plans from her. Minerva is just one of the many new caravan merchants that have appeared in Appalachia after Wastelanders thanks to the Blue Ridge Caravan Company. I did a video exploring the lore of the Blue Ridge Caravan Company and their event called Riding Shotgun that you can watch here. The Blue Ridge Caravan is one of the more interesting factions that has arrived in Appalachia with plenty of colorful characters, like Tommy Tento's here. In our next episode, we'll start the full story of Steel Rain, which picks up where we left off with the story of Steel Dawn. I publish many Fallout videos each and every week on my channel, so if you don't want to miss that episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. If you have already, but you still feel like you're...
So, here, and then we'll end off by doing, oh, nice, 222. All right, so where is it? Percent, share screen. Let's see, will it work like this? Please work. Oh, wow, can you see? Oh, wow. I'm surprised. So I was futzing with the settings a bit because I was having trouble getting this to work. Don't ask me why. It makes no sense. But anyway, wait, let me fix the sound real quick. Not that it really matters, but I don't know. It's just weird that I can't hear it. Okay, there. And then go here. Right. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's a little immersion breaking that I'm able to get the plans, even though that's like basically the reward that you're able to unlock after you complete the main story quest. So, oh, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's see here. All right, so she's out in front of the... Oh, wait, I could just exit here. Do 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 do. No do 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 do. Ooh, ooh, okay, game, you can load. Come on. I need to get at least like 3 hours of nap, which is not perfect by any means. But now all I've gotten, I mean, the thing is, I could have gotten this before. I just kind of wanted to have it on video where I was getting in. I don't know. It's stupid. It really is. But I don't know. Just my particular brand of OCD. Legitimately. Alright. Come on. Now, game. It is time to load. Oh, wow. It worked. Again, I'm not delusional enough to think that actually worked. I'm basically just trying to keep my brain busy enough in order not to be pissed off at how long it takes to load.
You're saying that if you don't yell at it long enough, one of the yells won't work?
Wait, you thought I was yelling at you as I was trying to get it to work?
Yeah, well, I was saying, get it. You know, you're commanding it to work. One of them's going to work sooner or later. That was always my theory.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why I do it, because it's like it's. I mean, it's basically like when you have no power, do whatever you can do.
Exactly.
Alright, let's see. So she is over here, and why am I over encumbered? Whatever. I don't need to worry about that right now. Actually, what is up with that? Oh, well, that would be it. That would definitely be it. Shit. Let's see. Oh, wait, I could just go over here, drop my tent down, and then... Perfect. I've got spurs that jingle, jingle, jingle. Come on. Oh, what are you fighting now? What are you guys fighting? You guys are going... You're not... What on... I'm legitimately so confused. What are you fighting? This is insane. Dude, you're being killed by nothing. Huh? Wait, did it just load in? Oh, I don't think it... Oh. Something just attacked me. Okay. I feel kind of... Oh. What the... Oh, what the...
My guess is the nothing that was killing him is now trying to kill you.
I think it just did.
That nothing's pretty nasty.
Hardy har 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 Sinai. Come on, gotta get my loot, gotta get my loot. Come on. That was so bizarre. I was like so high and mighty, like, oh, what's killing you? What's killing you? And then all of a sudden, oh shit, what's killing me? Alright, there's my loot bag. Alright. Well, where's this damn thing? I don't even... Yeah, what's up with this dang lag? This is bizarre. And also, how'd they get there? I'm surprised they got their camp so close to... Anyway, okay. let's see.
Is this a new area for you where you're downloading resources?
No, this isn't a new area at all.
Okay.
Let's see. Frag grenade here. Scrap. I don't need that suit. And then get rid of any unneeded legendaries. Crowd control kaboom. I'll get rid of kaboom. I think I still have one of those. That'll do, or I'll do it. This is an interesting. Okay, there. How much did that clear out? Items 3-6. I guess that didn't really. Wait, what do you have at your store? I want to browse your wares. Ugh, when they have so many weapons, it's like impossible to see. Wait, what was this? Junkie's railway rifle. Nah. Final word. Ooh. That's actually not that bad, but it's super fucking expensive. Notes. Oh, they actually have quite a few. Oh, but everything they have, I don't have. Actually, they overprice everything. Dang. Anyway, I have enough space. Let's see. And I might as well drop off the. Actually, I don't need to. I'm like micromanaging every little thing, and I just realized typically people only use the term micromanage to refer to like other people micromanaging them. But if you think about it, you could technically micromanage your own things. Also, what on earth is up with? I guess that's just the ball bearing that it rolls around on. It's just weird to see. Like, whoa, it's like actually really trippy.
I always used micromanage in the sense of, managing to a second or third level.
I mean, I feel like it could also be like managing every little thing.
Well, yeah, in order to do that, you have to dive down levels. It's basically the concept of management is you're only managing direct, your direct subordinates, and they're managing those underneath them. And if you're micromanaging, you're trying to manage your subordinates.
Yeah, but what if you're viewing that subordinate not as like another person, but something that you're doing, and you have all these features within it, and so rather than just let something do automatically or not kind of worry about it, you just do everything. I don't know. Anyway, so here, let's look at this. So we need to get the Secret Service. Well, we'll start with the chest piece. So it's 938. Then the left leg, then the left arm, then the right leg, and then wait, what did I just, it doesn't matter, I'll just learn whatever I got. Okay, so first I'll learn this. Ooh, I just learned the Blue Devil pelt hood. Okay, now these arrows. Now we'll learn the chest piece, we'll learn the left arm, we'll learn the left leg, we'll learn the right arm, steel bust. I have no clue what a steel bust is. Okay, so then we have the Secret Service right leg, I guess. Now we need to get the Secret Service. Where is it? Secret Service pocketed arm. Something's not right. Oh, I guess it does. It maybe doesn't have all the mods. Whatever. I'll just get what I can. Let's see. Wait. Resistant Secret Service under. Do I already have that? I mean, I could learn it. What's worse that could happen? So then we'll get Pocketed. If I don't have any other mods, it's better than nothing. What else is there? Ooh, what's this? A warglaive? I don't think I'll... Yeah, I'm not going to have enough to get that. Alright, let's see. Oh, get the helmet. Wait, oh, that's cutting it really close. Shit. Is there anything else that I really want? Oh, no, I think I'll be able... Gauss pistol. Oh, okay, perfect. So, we'll get the jetpack armor. We'll get the Secret Service helmet. We'll get the Gauss pistol. Get the Gauss minigun mods. We'll get... What the fuck is a face breaker? Well, I don't have enough points anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I wasn't planning on getting it. What do we have? Warglaive. I could get the treated. Yeah, I'll get this.
Come browse my wares from exotic to rare. My inventory is legendary, but my prices are fair.
Let's see. Dynamite. What here will I maybe use? Well, you know what? I could always worry about that tomorrow. I don't need to spend it all. Gotta be smart about that shit. So we'll learn what we just got. So did that... Let's see. Did that just unlock it?
So don't delay. With plans for weapons to keep baddies at bay. Shop while you
Shit.
can.
No, so we still have to learn that separate. Okay, so... Let's see, just to double check. No, wah, 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 wah.
Hello,
I could theoretically buy more of the same ones I have, but why would I do that? That'd be stupid. Okay, so here, we're going to... Does anyone deposit anything here? Alright, so we go to craft this, we have to go into the mall, and then we'll check this out. We'll craft that, then we'll finish up. But you know, it's interesting because the I don't know what it is, what they're trying to imply here, but the Secret Service armor. Well, you know, I'm not actually going to spoil the surprise. Well, it's not really much of a surprise, but I think that the armor looks eerily like some other armor from another series. But I'll let y'all be the judge of that. So we've got to switch out here. Oh, I still had a weapon artisan on? Oh, no wonder I was taking so much damage. Or rather, not healing. Okay, get rid of these two. And then we'll get... Is it gun? No, it's... What am I saying? It's armor. Armor. No, it's not... Wait, actually, no. Yeah, I do want crafted armor has improved durability. I think that's it. Unless, is there another armor? No? I mean, I guess there's the... This? It's cheaper to repair, but that doesn't do diddly squat for actually creating it. So, where is the armor workbench? Right here. So, I mean, technically, it's like almost not exactly, but almost an extension of the enclave. So we're going to just put on the. Here. And then, let's see, where is it? That owl mask. I'm sorry, that's a bit too on the head, on the nose, or on the beak in that case. So, let's see. Backpack, where is it? Headwear. Well, first off, we're going to start with the helmets. Please tell me it's there. I did just buy it and learn it. Oh, I'm stupid. It's probably in helmets. I was looking in headwear.
Why would they put helmets in the helmet category?
Wait. Oh. Okay, well, that's weird. They have it under its own category, all of the pieces. That's... You know what? I'm not going to try to make it make sense, but okay. So we'll start off with a helmet. So we're going to make one of these. So to start off with, apparel, new. Okay, now what on earth do you think this could possibly look like? What franchise does this remind you of?
Let me take a good look here. What, are you going with Star Wars with a Stormtrooper?
Kind of. Anyway, so let's check out the other stuff. Wait, do you have the Under Armour yet? Under Armour. No, I don't, but I still have the Enclave stuff, so it's close enough. Yeah, it's close enough. So let's go with the chest piece. Takes a legendary module. What did I get? Wait, is it just a plain old chest? Okay, so let's see, apparel. Take off the Enclave uniform. So there's a chest piece. Now we'll go with, let's start with right hand first, right arm first. Then we'll go with left arm. Then we'll go with right leg. Then we'll go with left leg. So let's see, armor. Wait, oh no, I was wearing it before. So let's see, Secret Service, Secret Service, Secret Service, Secret Service. Wait, how much does Secret Service shit normally? Ooh, that honestly, let's see, that's. Oh, but dang it, they're all just one. Okay, so not gonna lie, this looks super bulky. It's not that bad though. Okay, so let's see. Helmets. How do I do this? Standard. How do... Wait. Let's see. Well, I can add jetpack or pocketed. Wish I would have realized that. So basically... Okay, so pocketed just adds 5 carry weight, or I can get the fucking badass jetpack. I think I want to go with the jetpack. No paint. Really don't have a whole lot. Let's see. I'm just going to wait till I have more. Oh, wait, do I not have... I thought I had more modules. Pretty sure I do. Let's see. Miscellaneous. Oh, okay, I don't. Weird. Well, I'll just do what I can for now. And then worry about that later, because I know myself I'll be rolling until I get them all, and I don't want to do that. Standard. Alright, we're going to add pocketed to that because we don't have anything else. Let's see. Secret Service helmet. Chameleon. No, we did that. Clothing. Pocketed. Wait, that has 2 on it. Interesting. Weightless, standard pocketed. Okay, interesting. This one, okay, I'm definitely keeping that one. That gives me, so it's weightless and it also minus fall damage. Definitely keeping that one. Let's see, weightless. That one's kind of shit. Let's see. Anything else? I feel like I'm missing one. Right, like pocketed. Let's see. All right, standard. All right, pocketed. I need these better now. Okay, this is weird. I don't know why it's, wait, 1, 2, let's see. This has standard. That's what I think I was missing. Okay. Standard. No, this is different. Standard pocketed. Okay. So that gives us a total of 400. And I want to see, without that. $380. So interesting. Versus if I go to this, the weight reduction, 367 out of 380. Or, so 367, so that's 3. So I basically, I just lost out on -6 weight, but then I get 20 more. So it ends up being worth it. And then there's still better bonuses I can I can get on all that. I guess at the very least what I could do is the ones that don't have a 3-star at all, I'll roll on those. So this is a 1-star. Please. That's kind of shitty, not gonna lie. I might roll on that again, but let's get the other 1-stars out of the way first. Carry weight. Wait, was it? Oh, that's not good either. I'm going to reroll on that if I can. Any other? Here. Okay, perfect. This is good. 25 radiation resistance. That's good. Become invisible while singing, so this is a chameleon. And 5% chance to deal 12 fire damage per second to melee attackers. So that makes up for the bonus that I lost before from the set bonus. So this is really good.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah, okay, so about to finish this up. I just want, okay, let's see. Is there a set that would fit better? Burn? Nah. All right, and then 3. If I wanted to, how many do I only have enough to do 1 more reroll, so I'll just do that on the one that I think actually is. Let's see. Come on. This one's pretty good. I don't think I rolled for that one. This one's really good. So then what was the one that I didn't like? I think there were 2. There was this one, and there was this one. Increased sweet side, scorched, or robots. Robots is actually a lot more useful, truthfully. I mean, I'm going to reroll them both at some point, so I'll just do this one. Come on, please. Oh, this is not that bad. I don't truthfully know what the third one is, but like I said, I could always do that later. Yeah, this looks really cool. And then, what was it? The weapons. right. That was the last thing I need to do. There is some new stuff unlocked. Craft. Let's see, where is it? It was a pistol, I think. Machine guns. It is a Gauss, I think. Which would be heavy guns, maybe? I don't know what energy? Oh yeah, that's what it would be. It would be a Gauss pistol. Perfect. Wait, how many modules? Oh, it takes 2. Perfect. Just the amount I need. Okay, so switch this out for it was science. Science. Craft. Energy weapon. Gauss pistol. Also, apparently gamma guns are super good against the new boss. So, okay. Let's see. So where was this? Oh no, I'm going to want it. Please tell me it's a 3-er. So I got the Gauss. I don't actually know what it's going to look like. Gauss. Oh, here. This is actually pretty good. Okay. Not the best, but okay. Let's see. Oh, I don't have anything unlocked for this. Perfect. I could at least try it out. Let's see. Weapon. Gauss. Oh, it's anti-armor. Right. See, I don't think... Oh, I can't use that. Well, I mean, I can, but I don't want to have everything turn on me. What else did I unlock? I'm trying to think. Was there anything else? Wait, they had farmable dirt tiles. I'll just, yeah, get that, and then I'll head off. Exterior. Alright. I don't know why. I thought I would have more the ability to get more things with those, but I mean, hey, I guess beggars can't be choosers. Yeah.
How much longer are we going to go? How much longer are we?
No, just like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, come on, load in. Come on. It's like I literally just go right outside and it's a minute load screen. Come on, just load. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's fun. Not really that effective, but anyway. So on that note, that's where we'll end off. Have a good Shabbat, everyone. I'll see you next week. And thanks for joining me again, Graham. Take care. I'll see you
No
around.
problem. It was fun.
On that note,
want to tell the Rebbe the words of the new song that we're singing with Mashiach, right? So I'm just going to read him. Am Yisrael, have no fear. Mashiach will be here this year. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait. Okay?